Okay, so we all know hashtag United, founded in 2016 by unbelievable YouTuber Spencer FC. It is quite literally our football manager dreams happening in real life. He created a side in his local town and has got them up to being just one step away to being in the national leagues. And today I want to carry on that journey and go to the extra lengths. I want to take hashtag United to Premier League winners. Yes, this is going to take a long time, so this is the start of a brand new story series here on the channel where we see how far we can take hashtag and how many seasons it would take to get them into Premier League and then to win the Premier League. It's going to be an unbelievable journey, so stick along, grab some popcorn, and let's rebuild hashtag. And oh, here they are in the game, playing at the Len Salmon Stadium in the Isthmian Premier Division. We've got hashtag United on Football Manager. And we've also got a fully up-to-date squad for them as well, which is unbelievable, including the absolute legend that is PK Humble sitting in defence midfielder. We've got Jeremy McKendy up front, who is a joke on Football Manager. And of course, one of the main things that you really want to see in a rebuild like this is when you head to the board, you've got Spencer Owen as the chairperson since 2016. Now, there's a lot of big people that are actually involved with hashtag, and they have recently opened it up to being able to be like purchase a part of the club to be an owner to the public as well, which is amazing and something that probably after this rebuild I am going to do myself. And they're also got investments like Cesar Azpilicueta, so an absolutely massive club with some massive investment. But it is no lie that they are a long way from professional and Premier League football. And here we are today. I've simulated the first full season just to get out of the way. The season that's just happened in real life. And we have finished 16th. Hashtag in real life actually finished 8th, which is amazing. But in this league, there is some big names. I mean, just looking at the teams even relegated, I believe Cheshire were in the National League South just last year. Bognor Regis, you got Canvey Island, Whitehawk, moving up a bit, you got Concord Rangers, you got Billericay, you got Dulwich Hamlet and Enfield Town back promoted in this version of the simulation. The next step up is the National League South, which is where we will be going. Recently promoted Braintree Town, I'm a local, up the irons. You then move on into the National League, where you've got the likes of Dorking, Oxford, Gateshead, etc. And then we know from there it's League 2, League 1, Championship and Premier League. And in today's video, I want to concentrate on getting hashtag to being a professional side. The first part of this rebuild is going to be from step 7 all the way to step 4 and making them a League 2 club, which is going to be an absolute mission because the rise of hashtag has been unbelievable. They were in, I believe, the 9th tier of England when they started. They won that, got promoted in 2021, went up into the 8th tier and then won that in their second season. And we are now here in the step below the National League South. And as you can see, I've simulated with a very basic 4-3-3 just to get us up to date. We finished 16th and we're looking through some of our star players. For example, with Jeremy McKendy, he is just listed as a good Isthmian League player and he's a 5-star. So if you go into our average player like a Harry Haysom, a 2.5-star, he is a leading regional first divisions player, and there's a couple of leagues below where we are according to Football Manager. So this is going to be a real tough challenge, and there's no shock as well that financially this is not going to be easy. Hashtag we're a massive fish when, you know, in step 9, step 10, etc. You now see them in this pond with massive clubs that have been in, you know, the League 2 before and relegated and had some hard times. We're now in the pond that we are in, and we are no longer that financial powerhouse. It is going to be a very difficult challenge to get hashtag to being not only a National League club, but then a League 2 club. And of course, like I said, by the end of this, a Premier League winner. And the big thing for it is going to be the financial side of things. It's going to be so tough to keep spending money and make hashtag a top tier side. Now, for this first transfer window, we've got 1.3k in wage budget and 41,000 in transfer budget, which isn't bad, but it's not a lot of money. And the worrying thing is all of our star players are all on non-contract, so they can leave at any point. So it's going to be very, very difficult. Now, in terms of the tactic, I've created a very basic 4-3-3. I've taken it from the Sunderland video and just made it a little bit simpler. Down in these sort of leagues is about making football really simple. So in goal is Jack Giddens. We've got Matt Waldridge at right back and Joshua Rasoke at left back. Harry Haysom and Mert Apat are the two centre backs. PK Humble sitting in DM with Max Cornell and Joe Christou in midfield. Left wing, Nigel Aris. Right wing, Sak Hassan. And up front, Jeremy McKendy. I imagine this team is going to change a hell of a lot, especially in this video. And there's going to be a lot of transfers that I don't really get to tell you guys and don't get to show you, as players are going to come and go all season. So my plan, until we at least get to the National League, is to come back once a year, show you the squad, show you the season that's been, go through a few transfers that have happened, incomings and outgoings, and hopefully by the end of this video, we'll be in League 2. Going to be an absolute nightmare, an absolute mission. But if you do enjoy the challenge, make sure you like the video, and over 65% of you are not subscribed to the channel as well. So for this little 3-part story series, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because you're not going to want to miss part 2 and part 3, where we eventually take hashtag to the top. Now, because there is a lot of changes in the first season, I will go through the transfers that I have done so far, and we have to keep things off on a sad note. PK Humble has left the club already. He's gone to join Dulwich Hamlet. He's obviously unbelievable in Ball League. I don't know if anyone's been watching that. I have been watching it a lot. I imagine as this video comes out, actually, Ball League would have finished. I went to game week 1 and it was amazing to go and watch. And this guy was an absolute laugh and was incredible. So we're using it well. I would love to have used it more on FM. But sadly, he's left us straight away to go and join Dulwich Hamlet, who are in the same league as us. So a little bit of a rival. Managed by Super Brad Quinton as well. Absolute legend of Braintree Town. Fair play, Super Brad. He's taken PK Humble and he's off on his merry adventures. Joshua Rasoke has also left the club to go and join Yates, who I believe are in the league below, to go and get some first team football. So past that, there is a whole bunch of other signings for us to get. I'm going to go through them quickly. So Ellis Jones is a brand new centre-back. Josh Gould is a brand new goalkeeper. Josh Leland is a brand new centre-back / right-back. Blair Snedden is a left-back. Mark Connell is a defensive midfielder of a lot of experience. Bailey Hamilton is a free transfer centre-back coming in with high decision-making and good speed for a centre-back in this level at 18 years of age. Bradley Williams, signed from Chelmsford, is a solid defensive midfielder. Theo Linden is another midfielder with great natural fitness at 18 years of age. Jamie Reckford is a 32-year-old who's been brought in as a player coach. And Cameron Gerbedo is a centre-back, also coming in to the squad. Now, the way I've been doing the transfers in this video, a lot of them are going to come from the director of football in terms of coming here, requesting different positions, bringing players in on trial. My other one is going to be pretty much trying to come to this search area and just looking for contracts expired players to try and bring in, sorting them by world reputation, offering them trials, getting them in and seeing what they're like. It's going to be very, very tough to recruit at this level, and a lot of signings are going to be very random and very weird, because we are just looking to make up the best team we can and as much numbers as we can. And as we pick this by our best 11, it looks a little bit ropey, especially in terms of the star ratings. But honestly, I wouldn't worry too much. Star ratings down at this level don't really mean too much. You're looking for high physical players with also as much ball playing ability as you can get. In goal is Giddens, right back is Anderson, left back is Snedden, Reckford and Mert apart at centre back, McConnell, Cornell, Christou, Hassan, Aris and McKendy stays at the club and leads the line for us. This season's going to be very difficult. To be honest, I don't know how long it's going to take us to even get out of this division. According to FM, we are predicted 350 to 1 to win the league and the worst team here. So how hashtag finished 8th in real life, I don't know. Fair play to the gaffer for getting that done. But for now, it's going to be about trying to survive and eventually building a squad good enough to get up into the national leagues. And we're lucky enough for us in this first season at least, we had a superstar player who had managed to keep hold of, who was going to carry us in this first year. McKendy was simply unbelievable and scored over 35 goals this season alone. We are 2-0 up in this game, and we are going to grab a third as well as Asude finds McKendy in the box. This is just the first half. Moving on into the second as Linden attempts to win the ball back, but eventually drops McKendy to find Asude to make it 4-0 in 50 minutes. And we grab a fifth to have a convincing win away from home in this one. And to be honest, our form overall this season was pretty decent. We kicked the season off with a 4-1 loss and a 4-0 when I thought things were going to go very wrong. We then won 4-1. So it just seems like goals are going to happen a lot at this level. A 1-0 victory followed up by a 3-1 loss, followed up by a 4-0, a 4-3, a 5-1, a 7-3, a 3-0, a 3-4, and a 4-2. What an outstanding run of games that is. We then lost the next couple of games, including a 6-1 and bouncing back with a 5-1. We lost 3-2 to Chatham, drew 2-0 with Brentwood, beat Whitehawk 4-0, beat Hazen Yedding 5-3, beat Ashford, lost to Hastings, Billericay and Ramsgate, and beat Folkestone in the Yazoo FA Cup second round, but then lost to Hagangrey in the middle, beating Bracknell on the 22nd of November. So overall, I think it's safe to say a pretty decent start to the season, and the second half was pretty decent as well, considering we were by far the worst team in the league based on what the media predicted. Like I've said, here on FM, if you can go through physicals and not worrying too much about that, you'll be all right. Through December, there was a 4-all game, which is always great to see, and then finishing off with a 3-2 loss. Unbeaten in January. Through February, we won 2 and lost 2, while March, we won 4, lost 1, but finished the season off in pretty poor form, not winning in our final 3. But all that form had actually done very well for us, and we finished up in 8th place this season, which is much better than I thought we would. 42 games, 20 wins, 9 draws, 13 losses, a 20 goal difference, and a 69 points is very decent. In terms of sort of the stats looking into the team, we scored the most goals out of anyone with 98. We were just sadly nowhere to be seen on the goals conceded because we conceded a lot, 2 on average per game, but scored 2.33. So, I mean, the whole point of hashtag was to be an entertainment team. Well, I say that, it's a bit rude to them, to be fair. They've done a very good job, but an entertaining side nonetheless, and we've done that this season. In terms of top goal scorers, McKendy was 3rd behind Dekere Sheriff and Tommy Wood. He was 2nd in average rating behind Kyrell Lisby, and in terms of assists, Josh Leland and Josh Asude were only joint 2nd. In terms of the squad, goals coming from other positions, Josh Asude was brilliant on the right wing, 26 goals and 18 assists, had the highest goal contributions for us this season. And like I said, in these levels of FM, pace is everything. 14 acceleration, 14 pace, really good for this level. His dribbling, finishing and first touch isn't amazing, but having that speed allows him to beat old, slower defenders, and he's done that at a very high rate. In terms of assists, 15 coming from our left-back signing, Blair Snedden, 15 from Josh Leland at right-back, and 14 coming from Bradley Williams in the midfield. And like I said, a really good job that we managed to keep hold of Jeremy Makundi, but he is still not technically on a contract. So I'm very worried about him leaving, but for now he's here and we're going to enjoy him. Let's see what next season holds. After finishing 8th this year, I'm hopeful of potentially a playoff spot. But sadly, that wasn't meant to be, because it's the beauty of non-league football. Just because you finished 8th one season doesn't mean you're going to move up. We actually dropped down into 12th place, because these sorts of leagues really are anyone can beat anyone. And we just ended up finishing down in mid-table, which isn't a bad result. I mean, like I said, we are very much one of the worst teams in the league. Even this season, predicted 50-1 in 20th place, finishing in 12th. We've still massively overperformed. To be honest, the only real difference was Jeremy McKendy didn't improve based on last season. 34 goals and 11 assists is amazing. And we also had a very high turnover of players this year. You can see based on the team: in goal, Mitchell Ware, Colin Mooney, Dion Woodman, Jamie Reckford, Blair Snedden, Ben Haddock, Charlie Owens, Harry Gathacole, James Deanian, Kieran Griffin and Jeremy McKendy. A very different side. And we also moved into a 4-2-2 as well to see if we could get some better results, as things weren't going well throughout the season. And to be honest, it was just very difficult. We lost our very pacey wingers. We had to try and resort to something else. And like I said, that's the beauty of managing at these levels in Football Manager. It is not easy in the slightest, but at least you can see the level of the squad has grown a lot. Because while McKendy was a 5-star, we have now got him to a 3-star, which seems like a bad thing, but it actually just means we've improved the rest of the squad a dramatic amount. The best player here now is Dion Woodman, a decent defender with good determination, okay physicals, and really good tackling. Actually a very good defender for this level, to be honest. And McKendy, I mean, his stats aren't outrageous, but he has just got pace, which is very important. Kieran Griffin, decent speed as well in him and good determination. The two cams are pretty decent as well. And like I said, squad is going to change so much throughout this section of the rebuild that I really can't go through every player, because there's been players that have come in like September on free contracts, have left by December. So for me to try and go through everyone will be very, very difficult. But overall, a little bit of a so-so season. We got to the third qualifying round of the FA Cup, and that is something as well that in this rebuild I would love to win. Obviously, building a club in 2016, it's a dream. I mean, I'm a member of Stretford Paddock in terms of the club. £5 a month, and we're a member of that. And Steve, one of his dreams is just to win an FA Cup, go and manage in the FA Cup. And I imagine for Spencer it was a very similar thing as well. So as something in this rebuild, I would love to attempt to win the FA Cup. The Isuzu Trophy as well would be quite cool to win, as would the Velocity Cup. We did get to the semi-finals, but sadly lost to Chatham Town. But the real difficulty in this rebuild is going to be the financial side. I mentioned it at the start. I'll mention it again now. We are already dancing with the negative finances, which is not ideal in the slightest. You can see, even with the final month of the season, we lost £200, which doesn't sound a lot in terms of football, but when our overall balance is only 36k, that's a lot to be losing. Our wage budget, we are right on the limit with. We've got £785 left. Transfer budget looks decent, but it is just so difficult. And like I said, the only scouting we are really doing is just trying to sign players of decent reputation or that have been released from higher up clubs. Again, I'll go through that probably in the second episode. I'll go through the scouting method that I'm going to use to attempt to get players in from Premier League, Championship that have been released. Because by the time we get there, it's going to be region central. So we're basically going to be doing it blind, knowing no players whatsoever, which is going to make it even harder, but just as enjoyable. But for now, let's get into the next season and see if we can get in to the National Leagues, because that is where we really need to get to really kick on at this club and to not ruin ourselves financially, because we can't stay here for too many seasons. And well, that was the plan, and we executed it fantastically. We managed to get into the playoffs this season, and in the semi-finals faced up against Hornchurch. Despite going 1-0 down, we scored from the spot to make the game 1-1 and sent the game into penalties, where we both scored our opening penalties. And if I sit here and show you every single one, we'll be here forever, because the penalty shootout ended 7-6 to #United, and there was 8 penalties apiece. It was an absolute ding-dong battle, an absolute mess, but we come out on top and we go into the playoff final, where we'll be facing Lose FC, and we want them to lose today. Donnelly whips it in, and Griffin was in there to head home to give us the early lead in this one, and we grabbed a 2-0 as well, as Trusty, he's the trusty man from the spot, makes it 2. But Kirk from the spot for them makes it 2-1 and gets them back into the game. But Trusty steps up again to make it 3-1. There's so many penalties down in these levels. It is ridiculous. The game ends up finishing 3-2 as Leslie heads in at the back stick. But we had completed our job and made #a National League side after winning in the playoff final. And to be honest, I think we deserved it. We were just 2 points behind Lose in third place and 79, with them with 81. But what we had this season was a real striker partnership. Kieran Griffin, who we saw last year, 28 goals. McKendy, 27 goals. And Jerry McKendy stays at the club to make us a National League South side, which is absolutely fantastic. 27 goals and 8 assists for him this season. And Kieran Griffin, 28 goals and 10 assists this season. The 4-2-2 with them two up front is absolutely dangerous. We even had our first foray into the loan market this season with Charlie Gill coming in into the cam role, and he was a very, very good player for us, a youngster at Notts County who's progressed really well, and I'm going to try and bring in for next season. We'll see if we can manage to do that. Trusty in Cam, Tate Trusty. I'm not sure we've touched on him much just yet. This actually could be the first season we've seen him. It is indeed. We've just seen him score from the spot 3 times. They're the 3 goals he scored this season. He's a big game player, and he steps up, and you can trust him in the right moments. In DM, Haddock and Owens were amazing. Mooney, Woodman, our first regen in David Moore, and Donnelly at left back with Jack Stewart in goal. I think we've done a very good job. In 3 seasons, we've taken them from the 7th tier up to the 6th, and we are now in the National League South. And like I said, there's some huge teams in this league. I mean, we've got like St Albans, we've got Bath City, Weston-super-Mare, and we're now ahead of Billericay, Hemel Hempstead, Hitchin, and Eastbourne Borough. Going up is Haverton, Waterlooville, and Maidstone, and coming down into the league from the National League is Oldham, who have just got promoted to League 2, who we're now going to be facing up against, as well as Chester, Aldershot, and Poole. So it's going to be an absolute mess in the National League South. I realise, as I've said that, Chester and Oldham are definitely National League North. Probably Aldershot are as well. Poole are definitely going to be South, but it'll all get jiggled around. But anyway, massive teams in this step of football. And hashtag United, the jokey club who were made from social media with Spencer FC, are now going to be in the National League South. And it's amazing that in real life, they are just one step away from getting there. Massive fair play to them. It's an unbelievable project, an unbelievable story. And what they're doing in the women's game as well is absolutely brilliant. I know he's been on a podcast recently that I watched, and their women's team is absolutely flying. I hope they're available in the vanilla version of FM next year, because that would be amazing to do like a dual rebuild with hashtag women's and a hashtag men's at the same time, and just try and make them the best and biggest club on both fronts. That would be so fun to see if we can try and do. Hopefully next season that will be available for FM26. And yes, I believe FM26 is going to be coming out. So stop panicking, stop stressing. It's now time for the National League South. Let's see what we do. And I'm going to come back at the end of August in the next season, because this is where things are very, very difficult. We just do not have much pull to bring players in. We have got a lot of money in the wage budget left. Bringing players in is near on impossible. You can see I've literally brought 3 players into the club. We've only lost 3 as well. Max Scott has come in from Hitchin, who's a much better centre-back than we've got currently at the regen David Jones. Emerson Sutton is a midfielder that comes in on a free contract, a 2-star player. And Junior Savane from Histon is a very decent right-back coming in, high determination, good crossing, and good physicals. But that is literally it. I am having to trust Griffith and McKendy up front, Tristy and Aris in the cam roles, Sutton, Haddock in DM. And I've got to say, so far it's going very well. We're currently second in the league behind Dulwich Hamlet, who only come up, I believe, to this league last season. And we are second just behind them. 5 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss. I expected this season to be a 20th place finish. We might even go back-to-back at this rate, because we have started an unbelievable form with only 3 transfers. Well, that form to kick off the season, to be honest, just carried on. We were absolutely brilliant this year in the National League South, and I really didn't expect this to be the case. As we saw, we were completely unbeaten in the month of August. We were unbeaten in the month of September, even including a 4-1 victory over Bath City, who I think are a massive, massive side. We nearly went unbeaten in October, but lost 4-0 to Chelmsford and lost 7-1 to Billericay, who were in the league below in the FA Cup actual first round, which is very cool to play there. Just not cool to lose 7-1. In the Isuzu round, we beat Grays 4-3. And the only other game we lost in that month was a Weston-super-Mare 3-1. But we beat sides like Welling, like Maidenhead, Torquay, Barnet, some massive clubs that just got absolutely battered. And then in January, we made a massive statement signing. The signing of Dylan Stevenson, coming in on a free agent contract after leaving Dagenham and Redbridge. And he started the season off 13 goals, 2 assists in 23 games. And he carried us in to the National League South playoffs. At this level, it is a one-legged affair. And we were facing up against Bath City and went 1-0 down. They then got a red card, and it was ours to lose. Savage, a ball over the top. McKendy brings it down, gets it inside, and Dylan Stevenson was there to level the game up. And a second came soon after as Haddock drives through the middle, finds Santos, who beats his man, plays out of White Donnelly into Dylan Stevenson again, and fired home for 2-1. And we had beaten Bath City, and we're in the final of the playoffs. If we could win this, it would be back-to-back promotions, and we'd be in the National League, like the Premier Division, ready to go into League 2 potentially next season. And it was Chelmsford City who we were playing, a team which beat us 4-0 earlier on in the season. But when it came to the big moments, we had some players that stepped up. They really did. McKendy, a great ball in to Dylan Stevenson to grab the first. The high press of Haddock, a great ball over the top. Stevenson brings it down and batters it home into the back of the net for 2-0. And a third comes as well as McKendy plays it back to Haddock, who's apparently an absolute wizard at over-the-top balls, to find Stevenson, to find Santos, to make it 3-0. And at that point, we thought the tie was over. But Chelmsford were going to hit back with a goal as Bell found Taylor to drill it in the box for Owen for 3-1. But we put the game beyond doubt. A fourth goal coming in from the spot from little Tom Lapsley from Colchester United to make it 4-1. Chelmsford scored the final goal as they hoped to try and get an equaliser in this one eventually, but it was nowhere near enough. A 4-2 victory for #United, and we were going in to the National League. The National League is calling because we finished in second place. And by the way, I'd have been so angry if we didn't win in the playoffs, because on goal difference, we didn't get promoted as champions. Maidenhead beat us there by 11 goals. Only a 14 goal difference shows there the issues that we have got. Still conceding a lot of goals, but still scoring a lot of goals, which again, we're an entertainment business. We're a very fun side to go and watch. But I can't believe we're going up into the National League. It is absolutely mental. For some reason, it's just called the National League, isn't it? My mind is all over the place. With Telford, Worthing, Dorking and Oxford City getting relegated, next year we're playing against the likes of Newport County, Dagenham and Redbridge, Yeovil, and even relegated from League 2, we'll be playing against Accrington Stanley. Who the hell are they? And AFC Fylde. So it's going to be an amazing year next season. But I do think at this point, we have to talk about the squad, because it has changed a hell of a lot. And there is a lot of players in here that you guys will have never heard of. So let's go through them. In goal still, Jack Stewart. He has been fantastic for us. The reason I like him so much, decent reflexes and handling, but also great area reach and jumping reach. At this level anyway, he is fantastic. Savan at right back, 11 crossing, great determination and decent physicals, good enough for this level anyway. And then Donnelly at left back, again, bringing in them decent physicals and crossing ability. Scott and Woodman at centre back. Dion Woodman, been here for a few seasons now and is a real starter in that centre back role. Tom Lapsley in DM. I believe he's something like 5'6". Yeah, he's absolutely quite a small lad, I'll be honest. At Cole U, I used to use him back in the day so much in like FIFA career modes. In League 2, he's now in real life gone down to Yeovil, which I had no idea about. And then at Boreham Wood, and now he's here at #, with a legend in there. CJ Clark is the guy next to him. In Cam, we have still got our trusty Cam, Tate Trusty, and then Jeremy Santos sitting next to him. Not Paul Scholes, but Lennon Scholes up front. Good physicals, good decision-making, good composure, and good finishing. And of course, Dylan Stevenson, who have just sent back some very important goals for us with good finishing, composure, and good enough speed. Jeremy McKendy is still here, I believe, anyway, unless I've lost my mind. No, there he is. He is not good enough for this level, to be honest, but still performing with 19 goals and 10 assists, purely down to the physicals. Physicals mean a lot in Football Manager, if you didn't know. Other players I think have still been in from the start. Nigel Arris has been here, but a player that's been with us now since 2023 and is really performing, which is good to see. And overall, a few really good players into this club. The issue I've currently got is obviously financially, things are a struggle. We have been a negative pretty much all season. Promotions helped, but we are still massively fighting above our weight. If we check out the detailed salary that we are spending, we're down in the 19th place of this division, which just means next year is going to get even harder. And we're going to be even further away from the tides above us. Someone like Weston-super-Mare spending 1.2 million have just been relegated. We are spending just 200k. And it's going to be very, very tough to keep up with the league above. So smart recruitment is going to be everything next season and this summer. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get relegated and then eventually go back up and rebuild from there. But remember, this doesn't end until we are in League 2. So we're going to have to get there eventually. Let's just see how we do it. Oh, yes, the club info screen. We cannot improve anything facilities-wise because we've got no money. 1.5-star silver youth recruitment means that development centre, 0 under 21s and under 18s, they are all absolutely useless. The best player here, Joe Strudwick, is a 2-star silver player who wouldn't even play in the Ishman Premier League, and he is our best young prospect. Training facilities, our players aren't really developing much because they're half a star, but our reputation's going up. But financially, we are a little bit in the mud. I remember when I said, like at the start, having someone like Spencer is great, but they are no longer like a financial powerhouse, hence why they're allowing investment from the public, etc. Here at FM, we have now been sold to Mike Smith. In 2027, he brought the club 5 months ago, and the Clay Stadium is now being expanded as well, which is pretty cool to see. So some investment going into the club. I'm sure Big Spendog is somewhere in the background of the club as a chairperson or something. So hopefully, anyway, I believe he would be. He wouldn't just leave the club like this. But what an unbelievable season. We are now going up into the Vanarama National League with no money and a squad which is nowhere near good enough for this division. So let's see how that goes. And well, for this season, we knew we had to massively improve the squad. After back-to-back promotions, it wasn't going to be easy, so we made a whole bunch of signings. Kicked things off with 2 loan deals. Michael Howe, who was at Gillingham, has gone back to Gillingham. Played half the season, recalled in January. Very helpful, Gillingham. Thank you. And Charlie Solly, the exact same. A really good goalkeeper back there in January, which is really annoying. But Sam Packham was a signing we made at right back to be a really good rotation option. Joe Newton, left back, again, someone that could play really well. Good speed, great crossing, overall really good stats and really good for this level. Connor Bridgeford-Stanley is a centre-back with decent speed and defensive ability. Our first loan deal coming in that stayed to the end, Nam Kyung Ho. He is a South Korean striker who was 6'4", unbelievable, with good speed, good finishing, decent enough composure, and was a really good option. 3.5-star ability player for us, and cost us 650 quid from Wildstone. Absolute bargain. No idea why they loaned him out. Alfie Chang was up next, a very good defensive midfielder at 26. Gabriel Otelli, a star goalkeeper brought in just at the end of this season, ready for next year. And the same there goes for Hugh Mendy at centre-back. And we knew it was going to be tough, but we managed to survive. On 16th place, 51 points, we finished 9 points above the relegation zone, which is really good. I'm really happy with how this season has gone. 14 wins, 9 draws, 23 losses, but 51 points. Considering with our team has had back-to-back promotions from the Isthmian Premier Division to now the National League, that is really good. We are still a team which concedes a lot of goals, and we weren't quite up there with goals scored this season. But looking into our data hub, we've still done really well. Just conceding goals is too many. We are still using the trusty 4-2-2 formation, and this was the team. Otelli, Savan, Mundy, Scott, Newton, Chang, CJ Clark, Trusty, Santos, Nam Kyung Ho, and Scholes up front. In terms of our goal scorers this season, 25 from McKendy, 16 from Scholes. And you're probably wondering where the legend Dylan Stevenson is. He left the club, of course he did, because everything we love ends up leaving. Where is he? He went somewhere. There he is. He ended up leaving and joining Grays. Really annoying, to be honest, but he's gone there and there's not much else we can do about it. So we move on, and this is the current side. Obviously, a loanee up front, someone we certainly need to replace, but still got a strong foundation. Nowhere near really good enough in terms of current ability and stuff, but like I've said, current ability at this level doesn't matter too much. It's really about trying to improve in terms of the stats we know are overpowered in FM. Physicality, running, and building an overpowered formation, which we've certainly done a very good job of. And then everything kind of caught up to us, and we absolutely stunk the place up. We didn't win a single game in the month of August, and the same goes for September as well, and then didn't even pick up a single point in October, losing every single game. Luckily, things started to turn around in November, winning 3 and losing 2, and going into December, the form certainly picked up. Luckily enough, we had enough in the bank in terms of my role as manager, in the fact that we, back-to-back promotions, 3 promotions in 6 or 7 seasons, whatever it's been, and we weren't going to get sacked. I think we could afford to get relegated and try and come back up. And based on the start of the season, it wouldn't surprise me if that happened. But like I said, the form did start to pick up by the end of December. We had 4 wins in that month. We head into January, 2 wins and a draw, a couple of wins and a couple of draws in February, not winning a game in March and winning just 1 in April. It was certainly going to be tight, but lucky enough for us, there was teams that were just worse. We finished on 43 points in 46 games, which is relegation form. That is absolutely shocking, but we survived. Dagenham and Redbridge, Welling, Blythe and Fide, thank you so much for being so rubbish, because we have managed to survive this season, and it was an absolute nightmare of a season. And coming into the next year, it looks just as difficult. I am a couple of days in already, 24th of August, 3 games, 3 losses. And transfers-wise, we are really struggling. I have done a massive rebuild this year in terms of players coming in. Sam West is a young goalkeeper. Ross Sinclair is another goalkeeper. William Morris is a backup DM. Harry Wright is a fullback, can play both sides. Ocean Williams is a right back. Cameron Aisha is a really good midfielder, actually, with really good physical stats. Remy Savage, we all know him from Crystal Palace, I believe. Really good player. We've got Matt Durans is a good striker, or Cam, who's a little bit on the older side, but brings experience. Ashton Mee, a very good Cam. Mark Johnson, a centre-back, a regen that's come through at 19, looks really good, but inconsistent. Luke Brennan, a very good defensive midfielder. Lewis Simpson, a good left-back. Mark Dewhurst, a top-tier goalkeeper, someone that's certainly going to be our starter. Marcel Lewis is a really good Cam or central midfielder, and OG is a really good centre-back. But we are struggling. Financially, we are deep into the red. I don't know how we really carry this on, to be honest, without just getting absolutely demolished and going into liquidation. We are well above our means as things stand, and as you can see sort of from the squad, we have attempted to change formation into a 4-2-3-1. Even then, we are still well above our weight. McKendy's still playing in this left wing spot is mental to me. Durans, who's a 31-year-old striker, is out on right wing. Asia, Josh King is up front, who actually looks very, very good. Morris and Tafaj are 2 DMs that we brought in last year. Simpson, Williams, Johnson, Savage and Dewhurst in goal. As you can see, though, we're starting to get into regen phase. 4 players in here are now regens, and it's becoming really, really tough to try and sign players. We are just using the same methods, director of football and released players, and trying to see if we can pick up any bargains anywhere. But it's really not helping. We are really in the mud at this point in the rebuild. It is a real struggle to keep us afloat and then try and challenge. I'm really struggling to do both at the same time. And it was another season of scraping by and getting safety, this time by a singular point, beating Stevenage, Gateshead, Barrow and Chester. Lucky Barrow and Chester were just so rubbish, well off the pace, nearly half of our points. Stevenage and Gateshead, though, it was a push right to the end, and we are really struggling. We are so in the mud. 800k in overall balance. Oh no. Wage-wise, we are overspending, and we are on 7k. I mean, we're not even spending a lot of money. If we were to check this out compared to the other teams in the league, it's crazy. It's crazy how much little we are spending. 340k compared to having it under Waterlooville on like 1.9. Competing there with Stevenage, who are spending 800k, and we are on 340. It is a real struggle to stay afloat, and I am doing everything I can in terms of transfers to stay afloat. I do think I've had a very good sort of job so far in terms of transfers in the sort of aftermath, and going into this, we brought in a star player of Alex Patrick, who looks really, really good. Shower Ali Pat, 35 games, 4 goals, 5 assists, a 6.68. It's not amazing, but released from Bristol City, he's one of our best players. Plays in that wing position. Gone back into a 4-3-3. I've even plugged in one of my old overpowered tactics, an overpowered wing play 4-3-3, fullbacks on attack, inside forwards, midfielders bobbing forward. And luckily for us, we have got a striker that knows how to put the ball in the back of the net in Josh King. Player at Leicester in real life. Pace, acceleration, finishing, composure, really top tier for this level. So we've got a good striker. It's just the rest of the club, to be honest. And I cannot stress to you how long I spent doing this summer transfer window to bring in 6 players. Number 1, Sully Vassallo, a centre-back with 5 pace, was the best rotational option I could find. Tom Wingate was a striker who looked really good and I was quite confident of. Charlie Warren, a really good goalkeeper, and happy to bring him in. And then my favourite signing, and the best signing of this rebuild so far, Xander Frame, a quick, good determination, good dribbling and crossing left winger who I think is going to make a massive difference. George Hoddle was up next, a midfielder, really well-rounded, and Sam Boland, who is a top-tier centre-back and by far the best at the club. I'd kind of rebuilt a bit of a spine of the team this summer, and I think I've done a pretty good job. I think we've got some pace on the wings now, which is great in Patrick and Frame, and we know how important that is. We've got a star striker, we've got a decent cam, and 2 DMs which kind of know how to get the ball and pass it. It is so difficult. We are so screwed financially. The squad is so small, and we are having nothing in terms of youth players coming through. I mean, we might as well scrap the youth facilities at this point. The $5 a week we are spending on these lads is simply pointless, especially when we are so bad in the red in money-wise and so bad in terms of wage budget. But the good thing is that this season we have actually started on some decent form. We have won 2 games and lost 2 games. We have beat Rochdale, Accrington Stanley, lost to Newport and Barnet. We are 6 points, top of the leagues on 12. Newport on 10 are 4 points clear of the playoffs already. It looks like there is a clear top 6 of Dorking, Barnet, Hampton, Waterlooville, Cheltenham, Yeovil and Newport. And it drops off massively, and it's going to be from 8th to 24th, a complete and utter fight to not get relegated. So let's see if we can somehow stay clear 3 seasons in a row. And by the way, once again, we are down here in 23rd place, tipped to heavily get relegated. But I think it is safe to say that the journey of hashtag so far in real life has been a miracle, and that is what we were looking to do this season. In the month of September, we had a 5-0 win. What's that about? We've not seen that in a long time. 5-0 against Torquay, 1 loss, 1 draw, 3 wins. Heading to October, 3 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws. Middle of the table form, not too bad. November, 1 loss, 2 draws, 3 victories. Hang on a minute, we're starting to build up some form. Going into December, we had 5 victories, a draw, 2 losses. Could we somehow push ourselves to the playoffs? Yes, we could. And I've got to say, it's down to 4 players. It's down to Josh King, Ali Pat, Xander Frame and Cameron Asia. They have been absolutely fantastic. I also went into the loan market, brought in Sead Tomic, a Serbian winger with 11 finishing, 16 dribbling and good pace. Like I said, I spent so much time in getting this squad to be at this level. Michael Unsworth is a defence midfielder, 8 goal contributions this season. So much better than what we had previously. And Freddie Turner is a centre-back we brought in January, 17 games, 7 assists, can also play left-back, has done so well for us. In terms of average rating, Freddie Turner, Michael Unsworth, they say don't fall in love with loan players. Tough. I've done it already. I've fallen in love. Because with the help of them absolute legends, we have snuck ourselves into 6th place in the playoffs, which means we have got to win 3 games in a row to get into League 2. A screamer from Hoddle kicked things off to give us a 1-goal lead. But quite literally 30 seconds later, Cheltenham equalise as Bogan fires home. But miracles happen. 119th minutes on the clock, and Rudiger Morris gives us the win. In the next leg, we were facing up against Havant and Waterlooville, and I've got to say, it's one of the most mental games I have ever seen. It was a true ding-dong battle. Havant and Waterlooville in the white go 1-0 up. Guinness whips it in. Griffiths backs it out to Jones. Jones on the right-hand side whips it in, and it was a 2-goal lead for Havant and Waterlooville. There's no way we could come back from this, right? Morris, ball over the top, drops the frame, knocks it in. King finishes home. It's 2-1. There is a chance. Asia on the ball, drives down the left-hand side. 4 men around him. Edge of the box, Rudiger Morris. What has just happened? What is that? He's just volleyed it from 40 yards in off both posts. How? How is that going to be how we draw this game up? How are we going to go 3-2 up? Asia and Xander Frame link up. How are we going to go 4-2 up? How's it going to happen? Mahadi on the ball, pumps it out. Rudiger Morris, are you okay? An absolute 40 yards. Rudiger Morris, what are you on about? We win the game 4-3. This guy has just scored 2 unbelievable screamers. He is a 2-star player with 8 long shots and 2 finishing. And he has just scored them 2 unbelievable goals. Sometimes in Football Manager, stats just don't matter at all, because this guy has just proved stats don't mean a single thing. And that sent us into the final here at Wembley, where we had a king. Turner whipped it in, and Alex Patrick was at the back stick to make it 1-0 to the mighty hashtag. It is going to go to 1-1. York City, a massive side. Lavery cuts it back. Freddie Osaka megs the centre defensive midfielder and puts it home for 1-1. But in the 57th minute, Alex Patrick is our hero. Talkvist gets on the right-hand side, whips it in, and Alex Patrick's there to fire home 2-1. And somehow, this hashtag side, built of lone players and nobodies, has managed to get us to Sky Bet League 2. I've got no idea how we have done this. Looking at the rating on the side, we're not very good at all. We're relying on 3 lone players and a whole bunch of players who just aren't good enough to be here, but somehow we have done it. And financially, that might just save us. Despite this season losing over £400,000 in terms of money and being £600,000 in debt, that might save us financially and we don't go into liquidation, as we now have to become a professional club. In terms of our finances this year, we were down in 21st place in the National League and managed to upset the odds and get promoted via the playoffs. We scored the most goals of 105, but the theme that has been in this rebuild the whole time has been we do not care about conceding. We concede way too many, but we have fun. Goals-wise, it was split very much like we've seen from King, Patrick, Frame, Asia, and Zaya Tomic, and Rydiard Morris. I still can't believe this guy just scored 2 40-yard screamers to send us into the final. Does that prove that FM is rigged? I've got no idea, because how on earth this guy with 2 finishing and 8 long shots has done that, I've got no idea. But what we are going to do is end the first episode there and get ready for League 2 in episode number 2. If you did enjoy, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, because the hashtag journey, we're now a professional club. There's a long way to go to get this side to Premier League winners. I'll speak to you guys next time. We are on a mission to rebuild hashtag United to Premier League winners, and so far we have taken them to the playoff winners in the National League and ready for our journey from League 2 to the Premier League, which is what we are going to be doing today. Going on the mission of taking a side that really shouldn't be in League 2, predicted at the bottom to be a Premier League club. So grab yourself some popcorn and welcome back to the journey of rebuilding hashtag United. Now, I think it's important to recap us on last time out, as this was the squad that we were playing with. We had Big Josh King up front scoring loads of goals, and Ali Pat, Mr. Alex Patrick, the pace demon, down the right hand side. If you haven't seen episode 1, it was an absolute mission to get hashtag United to be a League 2 club. It has taken us, I believe, 9 seasons so far to get hashtag to this level. As you can see, we started down in 2023-24 in the Isthmian Premier Division, 16th, 8th, 12th, promotion in 3rd, promotion in 2nd, and then 4 seasons in the National League, and eventually getting out. So in the year 2032, hashtag United are going to be a League 2 side, which means we're going to get a bit more money on our hands, which is very good, but it also means we're going to go professional. So this current situation isn't ideal. We are over £500,000 in the red, and it looks like financially we are going to seriously struggle. I mean, even looking into the National League, if we check out the team detailed stats and the salary per annum, we were sitting in 21st place, 428k, and we are now going to have to challenge with clubs in League 2. Clubs like Tranmere spending very similar money, actually. You know what? It's not a big of a jump in finances as I initially thought. Someone like Tranmere didn't even get promoted, so we're going to have to face up against them. We're going to face against Col U, so a local side to hashtag one of our rivals. That'll be a great game. Blackpool all the way down there in 22nd. In League 1, the relegated sides, Notts County, Bristol Rovers, Crawley and Shrewsbury. So we really have got hashtag up to a very strong level. So far though, we have not managed to improve them in their training facilities, youth facilities or youth recruitment, so it all comes down to the transfers and the scouting, and we know that is very, very difficult at this level, especially with a 500k in the red and a squad with the max value is on loan. We relied on loan players. Slade Tomic, Freddie Turner, Michael Unsworth. They were our 3 stand-up performers last year. They were all on loan. So we're certainly going to struggle. I haven't seen this save for me in over 2.5 weeks as I've been moving house and going on holiday. So if the setup looks a bit different and things sound a bit weird or look a bit weird, I apologise. We have got some brand new lighting, a brand new mic set up, and the setup behind me will all be sorted within the next month. So for now, we're keeping it plain. We'll do a nice little reveal. You guys have been absolutely smashing the support vote while I've been away. We've gained over 200,000 views in like 3 weeks, which is mental. Subs-wise, 1,100 in like 20 days. So you guys are absolute legends. Over 50% of you vote are still not subscribed, so smash that subscribe button. And if you can help support down in the Patreon as well, it is all being reinvested into the setup, like the lighting, the camera, the microphone, the background. So if you do want to help support and get a little bit of bang for your buck as well with rebuild files, tactics, all that good stuff, the Patreon link is linked down below. And my favourite thing is we can now record standing up as well, which is absolutely mental. This feels so crazy and so ridiculous, but it is something that I wanted to have done for a very long time. A bit more energy, a bit more hand movement, all that lovely stuff. But yeah, a massive thank you to you legends. You have literally helped change my life in the last year. And I just want to say in the middle of this video, a massive thank you, because I really can't thank you guys enough. But for now on, let's get back to the hashtag journey. Now, this transfer window took us a long time, and that's because we lost one of our star players. Alex Patrick, the legend that is, ends up leaving the club to join MK Dons, a league rival for us. Well, actually, no, now going up into League One. £100,000 for us, that's a 20% of our debt gone on a player sale. We had to accept that and move on. And I think we've done a pretty good job at scouting some really top tier talent and reinvesting that money. So it is all free agent signings and a couple of loan signings as well. And one last season that came in right at the very end was Nathan Hall. And this is one of the best players we have signed. He's a central attacking midfielder. He is 24 years of age. He is consistent. He's a free agent. He's got 5 finishing. So don't let him shoot. But other than that, he is an absolute world star. We move on to Scott Pollard-Refford, who is a winger/striker. Clark Conway in from Fleetwood, another winger. Brian Evans, a free agent defender who can play left back and centre back. Left-footed centre back is so important. 6'3", great defensive stats. Huge fan of that signing at just 18 years of age. Macaulay Prudhoe is another centre back, 24, high determination. Nathan Lister, a good young midfielder. Dan Carter, a midfielder. Brian Lang, a central attacking midfielder. Jack Thompson comes in as a right back backup. Harry Taylor, another backup centre back. Richard Thomas, a striker with great pace, finishing and composure. And I'm very excited to see what he can do at 6 foot tall. Nwoko as a central midfielder. Aaron Pickles, fantastic name, as a centre back coming in. Owen Granger, a young backup goalkeeper. And then our 3 loan signings. We've got Alex Akrig, who is a fantastic left back. We've got Andy Wilson from Wrexham, who's a really good defensive midfielder. And finally, Dwayne Williams from Leyton Orient, who won the league last year, comes in as a backup left back. So a lot of changes in that summer window, and the team, it does look pretty much completely different. This is now our best team sorted about what the game thinks. In goal is Charlie Warrion, right back Clark Conway, Prudhoe, Evans and Akrig make up a new look back 4. Tafaj and Wilson sit in defensive midfield. Beaumont Clark at right wing, Hasim Bakray at left wing, Nathan Hall at cam, and Zander Frame up top with that fantastic 5 finishing. Really, really helpful for the striker to have. It has been so difficult to really scout and go and find players at this level. And to be honest, I think I may have showed it last time out. I really only have 2 real tactics of doing this. Looking at players that have been released by Premier League clubs. I do all that in June. Premier League clubs, Championship clubs, and at this level, probably League One clubs as well. So we can get a bunch of youngsters come in and they can hopefully grow and we can resell them. And then players with high world reputation that have also been released is pretty much it at this point. Director of Football isn't helping too much as things stand. So we are pretty much locked in to this side. And this is about as good as it gets. And we're going to really struggle this year. In League 2, we have already played 4 games. As I said, this took me such a long time to go through and do. But 2 wins, 2 losses, 6 points, 2 goal difference. Not too bad. Season preview, we're down in 22nd. But we did see it wasn't a massive rise, in terms of financially at least, from the National League to League 2. So while we were meant to struggle in the National League, and we didn't, Can we do the same here in League 2 and get back-to-back promotions to League 1? Well, I'm going to be honest, from the very start, it's not going to be back-to-back promotions. But what I can say is we have held ourselves in the league, which for me, as much as the financials isn't too different, is a massive step up from the National League. It is very rare for clubs like Notts County and Wrexham to see what they have done in recent years. And often it is a real struggle to stay alive in League 2. But here, this season, we proved we belong. We have grown hashtag to actually being a professional club and being in the 4th tier of England, which is absolutely crazy. Hashtag United in League 2. Will we ever see this happen in real life? I hope so. That'll be an absolutely awesome story. You can see so far in this game we are facing up against Blackpool. It is away from home as well, and we absolutely destroyed them. We have seen some comments in the last episode and a few times on the channel, to be fair, about the 4-2-3-1 and how overpowered it is. For challenges like this, I firmly believe the 4-2-3-1 is the way to go. Yes, it's overpowered. Yes, it's very strong. The ridiculous challenge we are taking on needs a good tactic and formation, and especially during a rebuild where we don't play every single game. I think you guys know that watch these now. It is simulated via holiday. We lock in a tactic. We do all the transfers, and you don't have that game-to-game management. So it certainly makes the challenge a lot harder to rebuild a club from the National League, or, I mean, in this case, Step 7 to League 2 without a ridiculous formation. So that's what we've done here, and we've got 15th place, and I'm absolutely buzzing with that. 18 wins, 6 draws, 22 losses, a 0 goal difference. That's unbelievable. That shows we are certainly doing something right. And we had a striker as well that knew how to put the ball in the back of the net. As soon as I saw Richard Thomas, I knew we had a star on our hands. In the couple of leagues below, down at Dulwich Hamlet, he scored 17 goals in 41 games. And having a striker that scores goals in FM, regardless of the level, is so important. Because if there's an unbelievable striker out there scoring 1 or 2 goals, regardless of the level, he's not really going to translate. Very rare do you see a striker that scores 2 goals go to 20. With a guy scoring 17, we then lock him into our system. He scores 23 in a couple of leagues above. That's absolutely brilliant. He's got pace, he's got composure, he's got finishing ability and consistency. And for me, Richard Thomas was the star signing this year. And he wasn't alone as well, because remember Nathan Hall, the 5 finishing central attacking midfielder? Turns out he's an absolute wizard. He had 22 goal contributions this season, 14 assists, 8 goals, and was an absolute revelation in that central attacking midfielder role. And all of that has done absolute wonders for our financial situation as well. We were down at £1 million in the red, and having a season where we were getting great gate receipts and eventually going only 500k in the debt. Now with our financial winnings from this season as well, only 160k in debt, which is fantastic. We haven't got a lot of room to wiggle for next season whatsoever, but as it always is in these sorts of leagues, there is a lot of turnover and a lot of players that were good enough a few seasons ago, which are no longer good enough. Someone like Tafaj might not stay around. He's on £1,000 a week, taking up about 10% of our budget is just on Toulon Tafaj. He needs to be a 3.5, 4-star player to really warrant that sort of money. So if we can restructure his deal, he'll stay. If not, we'll move on and we'll go back to the transfer window and sign some more free agents. That is the wonderful way of non-league and even lower league management scouting. Don't get too attached to players. It's like falling in love with loan players. You don't want to do that, especially in these levels. Get rid of them, move on, and bring in some new stars. So once again, it was a whole bunch of players released, but incomings were aplenty, and we made some fantastic deals this summer. Gareth Taylor, number 1, a supremely quick right winger. And we remember this name, Saeed Tomic. He has finally had his contract released at West Ham. He was unbelievable for us in the National League and joins back this season. And I'm very, very excited about that one. Alex Rooks is up next, a centre-back. Blaine Ferenbach, a midfielder. Bailey James Potts, a centre-back / right-back. Stevie Hill is a left-back. Justin Rodriguez is a defensive midfielder. Isaac Smith is a centre-back. Hayden Pickard is a left-back. And Finley O'Gorman is a rotational striker. So a lot of new deals coming in, a lot of players leaving, and we know that means a lot of new players in the squad. Once again, Warren in goal. Pot, Prudhoe, Pickles, Pickard. That is such a... Pot, Prudhoe, Pickles and Pickard. I didn't even plan that. The 4 Ps at the back. That is fantastic. Rodriguez and Tafaj does end up staying in DM. Say Tomic at left, Taylor on right, Nathan Hall in cam, and of course, big Richie Thomas up front. We have got a much better squad these days, though. I am very happy with how things are going. Financially, we are spending a tiny bit too much. We won 18k last year, now 19.5, so about £1,000 overall has been spent. We're looking into League 2, though. Things have started very well. We are unbeaten in the first 4 games, 3 victories, 1 draw, and Richard Thomas already has 6 goals. The season preview predicts us 22nd, but based off this start, I think we could be challenging for promotion. And this really was the season of #United coming in to their own. We didn't just have that fantastic start of season form. The form really did carry on. Despite losing to Bradford City in September, we went unbeaten in the month of October, and while there was 2 losses in November, the rest were all victories, and we were certainly showing ourselves to be a really strong side and one that would certainly challenge for promotion. But it wasn't just promotion that I wanted to win the title. We went on a ridiculous run in the second half of the season, unbeaten throughout the whole month of January, won the first 2 games in February, 3 losses in 4 games in between February and March, but then winning every other game other than a draw against Shrewsbury to finish the season, which meant that #United were champions of League 2 on 94 points, 3 points clear of Bradford City, one of the only other teams to beat us. They finished on 91, and it was quite a drop off then to Swindon, and promoted also was Northampton. So obviously you have to be in the top 3. We didn't want to just come top 3, did we? We wanted to win the league, and that is what we have done here today. 94 points is a fantastic points tally, and it means that we are going up to League 1. We didn't think it was a jump up from the National League to League 2. I tell you what, it is a huge jump up from League 2 to League 1. The salary has gone from 2.5 million to 25, and Wrexham with 20 and 2.5 million is one of the lowest. And if we check things out for League 2, we are spending just 998k. So financially, we are nowhere near a powerhouse. We are nearly out of the red, which is fantastic. We have got a much bigger transfer budget and wage budget now, £10,000 in wage budget to spend. But it's really not going to be easy. I mean, Richard Thomas is doing really well. 21 goals in 22 games. He's a 2-star player, and he just is not League 1 quality at all. He is actually leaving the club. Finley Gorman was decent this year, 17 goals. Nowhere near League 1 quality. Nathan Hall, 12 goals, 4 assists. I actually think probably is League 1 quality. Very, very good player. Has been brilliant for us. And the same goes for Gareth Taylor. Say Tomic this year, great to get him back. 21 goal contributions. This guy really is the kind of player that always excels on FM. Doesn't struggle with consistency. Good speed, good dribbling, beats a man, and loves to put a ball in the box as well. But that is pretty much it for this season. It's been a very, very good one. We've won the league. I think is this even our first major trophy? It might be, because we haven't won another league. We've managed to cut playoffs time and time again. I mean, we were 2nd in the Bannerarm National League South, 3rd in the Isthmian League. We finished 6th in the National League, and now we win a title. Sky Bet League 2 is #United's, and we are going up to the 3rd tier, Sky Bet League 1. Now, before we get into that League 1 season, we need to talk about Football.Fun and FDF, because it is back for the Club World Cup. And I missed the start due to being on holiday, but we are now here. And the best thing is, it is open to everyone. So the link to join up FDF and play fantasy football through the Club World Cup is literally linked down below. And everyone and anyone can join. You no longer need to be invited. So all of you that are messaging, trying to get invite codes, you don't need it no more. It is available to everyone. There's over 2,500 people on the game already. And I think I've done pretty well in game week 1. I managed to invest in, forwards-wise, where is he? Mr. Pedro Neto. I can't see where he is. Oh, it's because the game week's restarted and it's going into the next one, hence why. But I had Pedro Neto, so I get some decent score from him because he scored for Chelsea. You can see the players that I am currently invested in. Pedro Neto, Haaland, Blanco, Glau, Bellingham, Kane, a bit of Edison Cavani, because why on earth not? And I find it so fun that all these other random clubs are involved in fantasy football as well. It's not just the star players. You've got all of these absolute legends as well. We'll open up a pack and see who we get. Number 1 is Anton from Borussia Dortmund. We move on to Ruben Diaz from City, and there we go, a cool little player. Williams Alcaron from Boca Juniors, and finishing up with Alex Telles at Botafogo. If you want to get yourself on FDF, the link is down below. Trust me, it's great fun. At the moment, 3 to play, and playing this sort of, fantasy football during a Club World Cup makes it so much more enjoyable, and you actually be able to be interested in watching it, which is amazing. So get the link down in the description and join up with FDF. Right, so the step up is going to be ridiculous, but I tell you what, we have really struggled in terms of finding some players that are good enough to take the step up, that are interested in coming to hashtag. Number 1, Ches Nugent is one of the best centre-backs we could find. High determination. Maybe it's good to have him in the squad. Marlon Stockill, another centre-back coming in, also high determination, slightly better physically. Cenk Jelfs is another centre-back. You can really tell we went on the defensive side. Charlie Jones, a rotational striker, not very good at all. And finally, TJ Stupple, a signing that I'm very, very happy with. A top-tier goalkeeper. This guy is good enough on FM to be honest, to be a lower half Premier League goalkeeper. Good area reach, jumping reach, determination, handling, reflexes, and kicking is also very, very good. As a goalkeeper in League One, he is going to be absolutely fantastic, and I have no doubt in that. So heavy on the defence, which means our attack doesn't change too much. And we have still got Big Thomas up front, which is good to see, staying at the club. Not good enough, but it is what it is. Taylor on the right wing, Tomic on the left wing, Hall in the cam, Rodriguez and Nugent in DM, Pot, Jelf, Stockill and Hill in the defence with Stupple in goal. We are going to struggle. Fight bravely against relegation is what the board want us to do. We are 200 to 1 to go up. Remember, we were 22nd place last year in League 2, and we won the league. So this year, 24th in League 1. We are going to struggle. Our team is not good enough financially. We are nowhere near being competitive with them. And I think we're going to really struggle, probably from now on, to get to the Premier League. As we have probably hit a wall now where you can get away with using some non-league players. You can get away with having just some pacey players in the side and breaking the physicals on FM. You now start to get to this level. You need some more technically gifted players. I think we're going to really struggle. And well, yeah, to absolutely nobody's surprise, it was a huge struggle. The month of September, we didn't win a single game. We won just one in October, won just one in November. But luckily, we started to turn the form around as we got to the second half of the season. 4 victories in December is as many as we've had in the rest of the season. So if we could just carry on that form for the second half, we would be okay. And luckily, that's pretty much what we've done. We lost 1, drew 1, and won 1 in the month of January. February, we won a game, drew a game, lost 2. Pretty decent in March, only losing 2, drawing 3, winning 2, and went unbeaten in April, which, lucky enough for us, done absolute wonders for our League 1 position. A 0 goal difference once again in 16th place, 5 points clear of the relegation on 56. QPR relegated to League 2 on 51 points is absolutely savage. This league was so tight, it was so cagey, and the fact that we have finished in 16th, we were literally 12 points away from being able to go into the playoffs, which is crazy. Boston United doing really well in this rebuild. Are they the highest non-league side that we've got so far? They probably are, let's be honest. There's no one else going really crazy up here. So really cool to see a team like Boston United and Bradford City as well doing bits. We've got Crystal Palace down in 19th place here, which is crazy to see. They are the biggest team that have fallen off, I believe, so far. In 2035 now, of course. We are well into the future, which makes signings really difficult because it's pretty much just regens. I mean, a young striker, Miles LeBurn, he's now 31 years of age. I'm not going to go and sign him. He's way too old for what we're looking to do. He was a top goal scorer this season in League One for Charlton, finishing in 3rd place. He'll be there next season, but just showing that the young players in real life are now not really there. You look at our recommendations, it's all just regens, and it is a real struggle. We don't have the money to go and scout many places. Obviously in England, you have ESC slots, etc., which make it so difficult. So we are pretty much still just looking at getting players in from the Premier League, Championship, League One that are being released, bringing them in on trial, see how good they are, and chucking them into playing men's football. It is not good. It is not the way I want to build this squad. Eventually, I'm going to bring in some hidden regen wonder kids. So far, we just do not have the facilities for that in the slightest. For the first time, though, in possibly the whole rebuild, we are in positive balance, which is great to see. £180,000 in overall balance is amazing. 186 is the best we got to this season, but we still are unable to improve the club at all because we have no money. We are half-star training facilities, half-star youth facilities, 1.5-star silver and youth recruitment. We are so down bad in terms of where the club should be in League One. We are just really coasting our way through using an overpowered formation and somehow surviving. So once again, it was a real struggle to bring players in, and once again, it is a free agent window. It is the only thing we are able to do. Adam Wheatley, released from the Premier League with Brentford, comes in. David Lopez from Plymouth, a striker with 16 finishing, comes in. Callum McCann from Norwich comes in as a left winger with good speed. Callum Perry, a free agent centre-back. Charlie Brunt, a free agent centre-back. Blaine McClaw, a free agent midfielder. And Drogba is brought in, mainly because of his name. I'll be honest, I saw Drogba, Ivory Coast, striker. Surely he has to bag goals. 5 finishing. There wasn't a lot of scouting that went into this. I saw he was released from RC Abidjan in Ivory Coast. I saw he had the ability to score goals. 5 for finishing is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how he got a work permit either. He must have something. Yeah, he's also French and English, so he did have that, which meant no work permit, which made it really easy. He's good in big matches. 5 finishing. Drogba doesn't really work, does it? Let's be honest. Roland, hopefully you are a reincarnation of Big Didier. This is the current best side if we pick it by best 11. It's such a small squad, it's ridiculous. Defensively, so rough. DMs, so rough. Attack is fairly decent. The main thing is goalkeeper. TJ Stupple is a superstar. He is a 4-star player, by far the best player in the club. And I knew that when I signed him. I knew we had found an absolute gem, so we need to keep hold of him. And hopefully he stays until we get to the very top, because otherwise we're absolutely screwed. We have the smallest squad, no money, and we are just fighting above our weight. It is really David and Goliath here. And well, the story of David and Goliath is a magical one, and one that it seems we might be able to actually recreate. We had an unbelievable start to this year, beating West Brom and then Wrexham in the Carabao Cup first round, showing we might actually be able to compete against some big sides. We nearly went unbeaten in the first month, but lost to Boston. But a 4-1 victory over Yeovil was a massive, massive turning point. We only lost 2 games in the month of September, 1 game in the month of October, surrounded by 4 victories and just 2 draws. And you can see the sheer amount of goals we are scoring. 4-2, 4-1, 4-1. We are doing a bit going forward. In terms of November, a little bit ropey to start, but finished on good form. 4 wins out of 5. And we are actually taking our way to being a potential playoff side. And it was actually on the final day of the season that we needed a victory to secure promotion without playoffs. And it was Altrincham who we faced up against, a team that I have done a long-term rebuild with before, so a team that I had to put to the sword. It was 2-0 in 46 minutes. In the 63rd, Saeed Tomic, the left-hand side, that high dribbling comes in, falls back to Simpson, and Nathan Hall, with that 5 finishing, believe it or not, turns it into the bottom corner for 3-0. Simpson to the left-hand side, once again, cuts it back. McClaw, another one on the edge of the box. Farrenbach, a great effort for 4-0 in the 68th minute, and we made it 5 as well in the 72nd. Taylor, who has been a brilliant signing for us, the free agent deal, yet another one of course, finishes home eventually. 5-0, we secure promotion in a demolishing victory over Altrincham, and I tell you what, I am buzzing we done that, because in 3rd place was Huddersfield and 1st place was Wimbledon. It was so tight. Huddersfield 1 point behind us. Carlisle 2 points behind us. We had to win that game, and luckily we did. We'd have been facing Wigan, MK Dons, Carlisle in the playoffs if we didn't win that game, but luckily we did. And it's Huddersfield that come up with us. We are now officially higher up in the leagues than Reading, West Brom, Charlton, Swansea, who else? Lincoln. I mean, who's been relegated from the Championship? Any big sides? Pompey, Salford, Hull. Lower down than #United. And I know I'm a little bit obsessed with the financial side of these sorts of rebuilds, but Hull, for example, spending £28.5 million and us spending 1.49, we are now higher up than them, showing that good recruitment and a good tactic can take you very far in rebuilds and in your saves in general. Look for high physicals and just try and break the game. Charlie Jones, his stats aren't very good at all. 9 finishing, 9 composure, but a good system. He scores 23 goals. Gareth Taylor, Nathan Hall, 5 finishing, 20 goals, 13 assists. Say Tomic, 19 assists. And we are just doing absolute wonders. The 2 DMs on support, both with 10 assists as well. I can't believe we've got hashtag to the championship, let alone the next step of getting them to the Premier League as well. We actually have a decent amount of money to go and spend now, which is nice. £960,000 in transfer budget, 18k in wage budget. We can get that right up to £37,000 in wage budget, which I think is more than we're spending now, potentially overall. We are spending 35, so we can double our wage budget, which should mean we can double the ability of our squad. And if I'm good at scouting, which I would like to say, I will hold my hands up and say I'm pretty decent at scouting, I should be able to do absolute wonders with this £75,000 wage budget and hopefully keep hashtag in the championship and within 2 or 3 seasons make them a Premier League side. So let's see how we do it. Right, for the first time, we have spent money, and I think for the first time, it's been worth it as well. Number 1 signing is Nathan Cunningham, coming in from Swindon. Cost us just £100,000, so it's not, Sky Bet championship breaking, but it is for us. That's our biggest ever purchase, and this season he played just 6 games. I should probably just stick to the free agents. Because to be honest, we can say that for pretty much all the signings. Ben Neary cost us £100,000 and didn't play that much. Paddy Barry, however, a free agent contract coming in from Dagenham and Redbridge. Carl Ball, a centre-back, free agent, 22 years of age. Unreal signing, now value of £4.2 million. Tyrone Fitzgerald, £110,000 from Salford. He was pretty average at left back. Steve Dunn from Reading, 64k. Actually a very good defence midfielder and someone I'm really happy we brought in. Lewis Berry, a free agent right back, now value of £5 million. Freddie Turner, a free agent left back. Probably played better than Nathan Cunningham. So yeah. It is what it is. Darren Horncastle, a free agent midfielder. Darren Seymour, a right winger, brought in. Sam Newman, a striker brought in from Spennymoor. Michael Allsop, a free agent goalkeeper. And Dara Green coming in as well. I have actually set it up so the director of football goes and gets players for the under-19s and under-21s because we literally don't have a squad. Under-21s is 4 players big and under-18s is full of absolute idiots. So I do have it. So he goes out there and tries to find players for the under-21s and under-18s. Hence why he brings in players like this, which, to be honest, are much better potential than our players. Still not great, but they're all pretty much free agent players, and it's not really the end of the world. I don't mind giving the director of football a little bit of that to go and try and find some young talent. You never know, one day it might come in handy. As for the first team, this was the first team squad. Stupple, of course, staying in goal. Berry, Ball, Jelson, Turner, McLaurin, Dunn, Seymour, Tomic, Hall, and Cunningham up front. And this season is actually already done. It was in the championship. It was always going to be tough. It was ridiculously tough. We finished in 21st place, but survived by 7 points. So as much as we're only a place above being relegated, we survived by 7 points, which is quite a lot in the grand scheme of things. Only 2 points away from 19th place. Relegated Cardiff, Nottingham Forest, and Peterborough. So they are now, I think, the biggest club in League One. Crystal Palace are now up to 7th. So yeah, Forest in real life are going into the Conference League are now going down to League One. What a fall off they have had. They have been yo-yoing between the two and now go all the way down to League One, which is absolutely crazy. We have managed to survive, obviously, which is great news. Financially, it has been fantastic to be in the Championship. We now have £5.5 million in the bank. We are, I would say, rich at this point. I mean, it's a massive change to where we have been previously. Things have massively turned around for us in the financials. That doesn't mean that we've been able to improve the training facilities, youth facilities, or youth recruitment just yet, but hopefully in the near future, that will be possible. We still have Mike Smith as the chairperson. I don't know how he got so much money just there. It must be some sort of parachute for staying in Championship, getting that £5 million, which is huge. £5 million this month we raised. So it's got to be something like that because there's no other way we got that sort of money without that happening, which is absolutely huge. In fact, we can probably see it here. We had £1 million in sponsorship money and 4.8 in solidarity payments. So there you go. There's £5 million staying in the league. absolutely massive. That should help us now build hashtag to a Premier League side. That's the foundation. We just now got to go and do it. Now, there's only 4 signings this summer, and that's because I think we are progressing with a good young squad, and a few little players needed to come in to really improve us. And one of them was the £240,000 signing of Mike Eastham, a 22-year-old central attacking midfielder brought in from Charlton, who were obviously in the League One, the league below, but has played 4 back-to-back seasons in League One now. And I think he's a really good midfielder. He can play in cam, he can play in DM, and I think he's really well-rounded and a fantastic signing, great with both feet. Moving on from that, we have Dara Green from Sutton, another one of the director of football signings. Malcolm Allsop, a good backup goalkeeper, and Sam Newman, I think we've already seen potentially. We also have Bernardo Garcia coming in from Downbio. This is one of my hidden regen sort of signings coming in. He is a Uruguayan striker, really good leadership, really good determination, physicals, and finishing. Consistent Leipzig matches, is actually a very good signing coming in from Uruguay on that free agent piece of business. I think we have worked wonders to get him into the club. And again, just showing that level of scouting that we do here. I don't know if I've actually showed it in either part of this video, so we might as well show it here. We come to my managed filters. These are all available on the Patreon in different places, but I'm sure you'll be able to find them. Hidden Gem Internationals. There is a specific video on this whole thing if you do want to use it, because it is fantastic. You have to set this to being at the World, and we will go and see players with high reputation from loads of different nations, sorted by nation, go through and scout players from decent nations like Ghana here. Francis Owusu, if he was still playing in Ghana, he would be a brilliant player to go and look at. Scrolling down, there's not actually too many still available that we don't know anything about. In fact, there is pretty much none. So in this case, I'd probably sort by world reputation. Anything over 1.5 star, give them a scout, see what they're about, and you never know. You might find yourself the next Bernardo Garcia, because he is going to be a huge part of this team going forward over the next couple of seasons. He comes in as a rotational player to Cunningham, as he was obviously the starter last season. Taylor, Hall and Tomic staying as our attack midfield trio. Dunn and Eastham in DM. Berry, Ball, Jelfs, Fitzgerald and Stupple in goal. Another season in the Championship, and to be honest, another season we just want to consolidate. We don't want to get promoted too soon. Not that I think we've got any real chance of that. Which is why I'm very happy to just consolidate and finish down in 16th place. Much better than last season. 9 points overall. Really clear of the relegation phase, which is amazing. We are progressing as a club at a nice, steady rate. You don't want this graph to just shoot up because you'll get relegated very quickly. We're actually building a bit more of a squad and a club, and our reputation is going up because of that as well. Now 2.5 stars, sadly nothing else, but this sort of consolidation period is kind of what we wanted. A couple of seasons in League One, a couple of seasons in League Two, and this is now going to be our 2nd season in the Championship, and of course we are safe, which is great to see. There is no real threat this season of relegation. We finished in 16th, negative 16 goal difference isn't great, of course. We wouldn't know where to be seen in terms of the stats, etc., but that's fine. We are massively punching above our weight and doing a good job while doing that as well. Mike Eastham, 18 goal contributions, Charlie Jones with 12, and Adam Wheatley with 13. Said Tomic is still our best player at the club, a value of £8.8 million, and unhappy and wants a brand new deal. If we can get anything close to that, I will probably cash in and hopefully turn this side into a Premier League side using that money. But to be honest, that wasn't necessary. We didn't need to lose, say, Tomic. We just needed to attempt to improve on our current squad. And I think with the transfer window we have just had, that exactly is what we will be doing. Our first signing is Zeng Zalton, a defensive midfielder slash right back who looks really good. Very well-rounded, good on both feet, and extreme consistency. He cost us 325k, but I think it's a great piece of business. Next up is Tom Hughes from Bournemouth, a quick right winger with high determination. Marlon Patmore comes in on a permanent deal, this time from West Ham, as a brand new left back. Solomon Diallo is a striker from Spurs, really well-rounded at just 20 years of age. Jack Austin comes in as a backup goalkeeper from Derby. Joseph Davies from Huddersfield, so well-rounded in a bunch of different positions, which is great. Kelechi Aziz from Birmingham. And finally, Ryan Glover is our best defensive midfielder, 25 years of age, Welsh midfielder, very well-rounded, great in big matches, comes in from Crawley. And our team does look quite different. Glover and Zayton make up a brand new defensive midfield partnership. Hughes, Eastham, Tomic, and Steve Taylor up front. Did we just see Steve Taylor? I must have signed him in the end of the last transfer window. 150k we got this guy for from Palace. This guy looks incredible. I don't know if it's just me. This guy looks broken. He's got 6 foot. He is good speed, great determination, flair and bravery, good composure, good finishing. 21 years of age. He was transfer listed for 150k and he's not played too many games. Let's be real here. He obviously come through, was doing really well in the Championship. They've obviously replaced him as they've got better and attempted to get back to the Premier League, which they haven't quite done yet. But 150k for someone with over 100 games in the men's game currently, capped at under-19s level for England. This guy looks brilliant. He's going to spearhead our new look attack and our new look team for this season. And players like that are the difference between finishing 16th and winning the league. The same goes for Zalton in DM or Glover as that really strong defensive midfield duo. Our goalkeeper TJ Stupple is good enough to get promoted. I think we are slowly building a squad. And I'm actually very happy with how the transfer window has gone in recent years. We have now spent around about £1.5 million on building this side. Other than that, pretty much every other transfer that has been done throughout this rebuild has been free agent business. We now have £8 million in the bank. I am asking the board consistently to improve the training facilities, youth facilities and youth recruitment because we want them to get better eventually. As we get to the Premier League, we're going to need a better youth system to attempt to challenge on the European scale or eventually win the league. We're going to need an overall club which is good enough, and I think right now we're doing a fantastic job. I'm very, very happy. We just need to now see if we can take this to the next level. We've been battling relegation. We've then come basically mid-table. The media think we're going to get relegated again, but I think we can now try and challenge with our super striker and a dual pivot in DM, which I'm confident of, for the playoffs. That is the goal, is playoff football. And that would be a truly magical story, but something we've found on this journey so far is that Hashtag United is a magical club, and the David and Goliath rings so true. We were unbelievable to start this season. 4 wins and 1 loss to kick things off, including a 5-0 over Wrexham, and Super Stevie Taylor, the new striker, well, he found his shooting boots early on, and he was just brilliant all season. A win, a draw, a loss in September, 4 victories, a loss and a draw in October, a winning month of November, just the 1 loss in December, surrounded by 3 victories and 2 draws. We really were on some top tier form, and like I said, it was pretty much all down to one man. Steve Taylor this season was outrageous. He scored 33 goals in 38 games, 31 in 34 in the Championship alone, and he cost me 155k. How on earth are Crystal Palace allowing this man to leave the club? To clarify, this is the Crystal Palace side that just finished 21st in the Championship and have just sold their striker to us for 150k. Their vice captain, Aaron Anselminho, is one of the best wonder kids on the game, has had an absolute flopper of a career. Palace spent £7.5 million on him, and they're going finish 21st, and we take their striker for 150k. I mean, his stats have progressed so well. Determination, flair, bravery, physicals. I can't believe we poached a striker like this for so cheap. And of course, we were hoping that he was going to take us to be able to get to the playoffs this season, but he did get a career, well, not career ending, but season ending injury in the last month of the season. So there was no doubt that our form fell off a cliff. But in the final day of the season, we faced up against Burnley and beat them 3-0. And Cunningham, a signing from a couple of seasons ago, stepped into that striker role fantastically well, and we dominated Burnley. But did we have enough in the bank to take us to the playoffs? We had a lot more than that. We managed to win the league. We've won the Championship. 350 to 1 at the start of the season. We have done it. And like I've said, it's down to a few special talents. Steve Taylor, top goal scorer, top average rating. TJ Stupple, top in clean sheets. Tom Hughes is a right winger that's come out of the woodworks here as a rotational player, finishing 4th place in the average rating charts. And our strong, aggressive system, 11 yellow cards for Davies, Ball and Stephen Dunn. That's the real win of this season. But what it was is we just scored a whole bunch of goals, 97 as a team. team, and defensively, we stepped up, because it is just 55 throughout the league. I haven't changed the tactic at all. It is Kempi's basic 4-2-3-1. Well, it's not that basic, because it's absolutely smashed the championship. And that means we're going to the Premier League next season, which means this is the final season of this episode. And the next episode will be taking hashtag to Premier League winners. And it's all down to one man. You can see from this screen, we were heavily carried by Steve Taylor. £150,000 has got us our striker to take us to the next level. And next episode, I want to see if we can get Steve Taylor to lift the Premier League trophy. At 150k man, it's like Jamie Vardy. That's what we've got here. We've got our very own Jamie Vardy. And it is a heroic story. Saeed Tomic obviously has come with us. He played for us down in the National League on a free agent deal and has come up with us now to the Premier League, which is fantastic. Doing a Penny Ruddock and Penzu, where he's played National League, League 2, League 1 Championship, and then it'll be Premier League for us, which is fantastic. Great to see him stay around. Mike Eastham, very good, 18 goal contributions. Cunningham with 11. Gareth Taylor with 16. Tom Hughes with 13 as well. And overall, just a really well-rounded squad. The tactic is overpowered. I know that. We've got to do it in these sorts of rebuilds. But hashtag, we're Premier League. A Premier League hashtag United. This save file will be available on the Patreon. So if you guys want to play a save where hashtag are a Premier League side, you can come and do that on the Patreon down below. Just a little teaser for you. We have £22 million and £260,000 in wage budget. And the next episode is going to completely switch from free agents to hidden international wonder kids. So get yourselves ready, because next episode is going to be an absolute banger coming this weekend. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll speak to you next time. Okay, so we have rebuilt hashtag United to the Premier League all the way from step 7, but it gets much harder from here. We need to win the Premier League, a European competition, and most historic competition in England, the FA Cup. But we have a couple of issues. Financially, we are absolutely ruined. Our club facilities are the same as they were in non-league, and our squad is built up entirely of Championship and League 1 players. And to make matters worse, we are in the year 2039, so it is only regens we are going to find. So intense scouting, high tactics are the way to win the Premier League. So let's find out how we do it and how we can turn hashtag to the best club in the world here in this rebuild. And when we finished off last time out as Championship winners, winning the title on 88 points ahead of Bournemouth on goal difference, and we had a superstar player, Mr. Steve Taylor, the 22-year-old English striker who was signed for just £135,000 from Crystal Palace. Scored 31 goals in 34 appearances, which is absolutely mental. And he is going to be coming with us into the Premier League, and he is our best player by far. And you can see he is a good Championship level player. The rest of the squad, it's not so good. It's a little bit worrying. TJ Stupple is a decent enough goalkeeper for the Championship, but the step up to the Prem, it's a little bit too far. The way I would describe things so far is like we're Ipswich. We've had back-to-back promotions, even though that's not the case. It took us 3 years to get out of here, but we've got a squad built of League 1 and Championship players, and that's how we currently stand. Carl Ball is one of our best centre-backs. He's going to get demolished in the Premier League. Obviously, there's no Erling Haaland at the moment, but a 5'10" little centre-back with mediocre defending, that's not going to cut it in the biggest league in the world. And if we look into our contracts expiring, pretty much everyone's contract is expiring from the first team. So it's going to be an absolutely chaotic transfer window. Do we have any youth academy players, you ask? No. We have half-a-star training facilities, half-star youth facilities, and 1.5-star youth recruitment. Why is it so bad? Well, financially, we have only just got the club to being in the positive. From 2023 to 2037, it was always in the red. You can see here we had a few spikes winning leagues, etc., but majoritarily we were heavily in the red financially. We are finally up now, making a bit of money, which is great. So hopefully over the next few parts, we can improve the stadium, because currently we're playing a Southend United stadium, and our facilities to be top tier. Now, in terms of the transfer business, we have £22 million to spend and £263,000 a week to spend in wage budget, which is going to be very important in terms of how we were spending money this year compared to the rest of the Championship. We were the lowest spenders, £3.73 million. For example, Southampton was spending £100 million per annum. We spent 3.73 and managed to win the league. Obviously, we are using a very meta 4-2-3-1 tactic, but having a few star players like Steve Taylor, like Tom Hughes, like Saeed Tomic, who has played with us all the way from the National League to the Premier League here at the club, has been very, very helpful. But this squad is about to change a hell of a lot as we take on some intense scouting to make hashtag ready for the Premier League. If you guys are watching episode 3 of this rebuild, what are you doing if you are not subscribed? There is over 60% of you watching this that watched episode 1 and episode 2 that are not subscribed. If you've enjoyed it up to this point, smash that subscribe button and help push us to 20k before Football Manager 2026. Before we get into our transfers, we've played our first game. We've lost 6-1. Away against Liverpool, an Endrick hat-trick and an Endrick 4 goals and Lamine Yamal grabbing a brace at Liverpool in 2039. This is what we're up against, an absolute 6-1 demolition against a 33-year-old Endrick and a very similar age Lamine Yamal. So the first order of business was to release a bunch of players, and there was over 15 that left, including TJ Stupple and Saeed Tomic, both heavy first-team players. But they weren't going to be good enough for the step up, so we had to go crazy in the market. Now, the way I found players was quite simple. It is a method that I've shown on the channel before. If you want to see an updated version of all Wonder Kid scouting and how I do things in the future, let me know in the comments down below. Get a little emoji down there and ask me to do it, and that will help out the algorithm as well and push this video more. But more importantly, let me know if you want this scouting video to come out. Now, first of all, we have 2 very simple scouting bits set up here. The first one is to go out and find 15 to 21-year-olds of 1 star to 2.5 star in North America and South America. And the second one is to do 1.5 star to 3 star in Africa and in Europe. I'm not going to go over to Asia and Oceania purely because we don't really have the scouts for it at the moment, but potentially in the future we will be doing that. And in terms of looking into the player search, obviously straight away we can look into recommended players that are not contracts expired. You can see that was our least thing we were looking at, but recommended players first of all, because of them scouting methods, there is a bunch of players here. Some players very good, some players we've known for a very long time, or some players like Jairo Ramirez from Alianza, a Peruvian central defense midfielder for about 200k that would come in and do a very good job. And the other method we are going to use for pretty much the whole of this rebuild is the Kempi Hidden Gem Internationals. You guys know that I absolutely love doing this. We look at international players that are under the age of 21. I've worked out recently, just sort this by world reputation, scout everyone that's above 2 stars, and you will end up getting yourself a bunch of decent scout reports. Already from doing this so far, we found Irvin Hernandez from Guatemala, who looks like a very decent right back. Not very consistent, so I'm not going to go and sign him, but if he had consistency for £1 million, he'd come in and do a decent job in the Premier League. But let's check out the actual players we did sign using their methods. So our first signing was the £525,000 signing of Danish under-21 international Michael Thiel from HB Køge, where he joined after he come through the academy at Copenhagen. Didn't quite make it, come down to the second tier of the Danish leagues and smashed it. £500,000. This guy looks outrageous. He's injury prone, which is a little bit scary. But £500,000, already a 4-star player, potential of 5-star, 20 years of age, great stats. It's an absolute bargain. We then made a few other quick pieces of business. Brian Bell was a free agent deal. Sadio Diatta was a hidden regen international from Senegal, £275,000 on a 3-star centre-back, already a value of 47 million. Pedrinho, the same, coming in from Academia in Portugal, £700,000. Elias Baum is a real player we've brought in, free agent piece of business, comes in for literally a season to do a really good job at right back. But the next signing is a big one. Cole Harding was an £8 million signing from Stoke City. Now, £8 million is crazy for us. I believe our previous record was about £1 million, so 8 million is ridiculous. I brought this guy in because he played the under-21s for England. He's got good determination, good physicals, good crossing, good defensive stats, consistent, likes big matches, and he'll probably be here for the next 5 or 6 years and be our future left back for years to come. I don't really see a reason where we're ever going to sell him, other than if we progress at a crazy rate. He's apparently currently a good League One player, potential to be a Premier League left back. Looking at his stats, there is no reason this guy isn't a Premier League left back right now. So I'm very happy with the signing, despite it costing quite a lot of money. From there, it was more free agents. We had Modeste Zangare, a free agent Cam, a new goalkeeper who is going to be our starter, Abubakar Dew, who is a 17 leadership captain material, good area reach goalkeeper with extreme consistency, which is great to have already at the club, and I think he'll be here for many, many years. Kazuke Doan is a defensive midfielder, Japanese player who again looks brilliant with high leadership. Important to get that in your first season in the Premier League. Daryl Stewart is next up, an English cam right winger or striker, looks very good and will certainly help out good old Stevie Taylor up front. Yusuke Ozaki is a Japanese striker loaned in from Manchester United with an optional fee of £7 million. If he smashes it, we'll bring him in. And if we stay in the Premier League, we'll have that sort of money. And he looks absolutely brilliant. Jean-Claude Ishume is a defensive midfielder brought in on a free deal. And finally, Andrea Vigorito is an Italian winger / striker, also coming in to help rotate up front. So as mentioned, the squad looks completely different to how it looked when we started this video. Dew in goal, Baum, Doan, Diatta and Harding as the back four. Pedrinho and Zayton stay in DM. Zangare, Tel, Vigorito and Stevie Taylor up front, making this squad. The bench, we're looking at Jack Austin, Davies, Carl Ball, Turner, Patmore, Bell, Ishweme, Daryl Stewart, Michael Eastman, Brian Garcia and Ozaki. You guys remember a lot of them names from the other two episodes. So they are still here at the club, but you can see straight away we have progressed into being a really good side. We have a few players now on par with Steve Taylor, which is kind of exactly what we needed to do if we are serious about surviving in the Premier League, which isn't going to be easy at all. The board want us to fight bravely. We're 2,000 to 1 to win the league. I've never seen odds this low. I didn't even know it was possible, because when Leicester obviously won the Premier League in 2016, it was 5,000 to 1. Since then, and even on Football Manager, odds have come down to about 500 to 1 for the worst team. I've never seen it go to 2,000. This means we are absolutely screwed, and we are by far the worst team in the league. So this is going to be very, very challenging. Now, as mentioned at the start of the video, this video is not going to end until we win the Premier League, but also I want to win the FA Cup, as it's quite historic for #United to win the oldest competition in England. And I want to win a European trophy. Whether that's a Conference League, Europa League or Champions League, I want that to happen in this video. So without further ado, let's get into Season 1 and see if we can survive our first test. Now, this season was going to be very, very difficult, but it didn't stop us from beating some of our brand new rivals heavily. We were facing up against Tottenham Hotspur here at the Southend United Stadium, filled with 9,000 fans. I'm not quite sure where Southend have gone to, but clearly we've stolen their stadium for this first season in the Premier League. A goal there for Seymour to make it 2-0, and we were just absolutely on form in this game. There wasn't many games this season this happened, but this one was one of them. And Vignotio grabbed a third goal before Steve Taylor grabbed a fourth to cap off a simply fantastic game and show that he still had the ability to compete here in the top side. And remember, we cost him £150,000. How on earth did we steal him from Palace? This season, he grabbed another 14 goals and got 3 assists, very similar to like Liam Delap level numbers, 33 games, 13 goals. He has got a value of £14 million. He is already the captain at the club. Steve Taylor, what an absolute legend. And he managed to drive us to safety in the league as well, which is unprecedented. As I said, we were 2,000 to 1, but luckily enough for us, Leicester, Birmingham and Brighton were worse. We finished on 37 points, so they're actually quite a bit worse, as Brighton finished on 32. We were miles off anything else, middle table, Europa League, Conference League, etc. That's really not the issue at the moment. This is going to be a good couple of years, I think, actually making this club and squad being ready for the Premier League. We are here, I say way too early. It should take us 3 years in the Championship. I think due to the pure growth we've had from the 7th tier to be here, it's going to take some time. We're already at the end of season 17 in this 3-part series rebuild. Let me know in the comments down below. Get your guesses in. What season is this going to finish on? It's going to take some time. Are we going to get to season 30? I've honestly got no idea. Get your guesses in the comments down below without skipping forward and cheating, you rascals. I know what some of you are like. Obviously, Steve Taylor was a star player for us, but the £500,000 signing of Michael Tell was also pretty damn good. Stats-wise, increased loads. Again, £500,000, 13 goals was great. And Carl Harding, the £8 million left-back, 11 assists, 4 goals, our player of the season. We really can't be complaining at that for a signing. He's kept us in the league, £8.5 million, his best season in his career. So it looks like we might have found an absolute legend at left back. And speaking of legends, I was interested to see if we were in the Hall of Fame yet. We are listed as a legend alongside Jeremy McKendy, which is hilarious. He retired after leaving us in 2031, 163 goals in 306 games. Already, Steve Taylor has made it after just 2 seasons as an icon. I mean, to be fair to him, he is a bit of an icon, isn't he? He's already got us into the Premier League and scoring goals there as well. And there's no one else here that I believe I recognise from us actually playing. Ross Gleed is here, Lee Hersett, Harry Honesty. I mean, a few players from real life. This graph is just fantastic to see the growth, and it's been very steady as well. I've seen some people like send in their saves, and they're incredible. In like 12 seasons, they've won the Premier League. I actually quite the fact it's taking us a long time. We have really had to grind through and get this club up the leagues. And it's been very fun. It's been a very tough challenge, but probably one of my most fun here on FM. If I think about some of my long-term saves, we've got Altrincham, which was a massive journey. If you've not seen that, go and see that. And then Fort William in Scotland, where we signed only Scottish players. That took us 20 seasons, I think, to win the Champions League. It was an absolute mission in that rebuild. And again, if you haven't checked that out, go and check it out. It was an absolute banger. This season, though, we can really see the value of the squad has shot up. Last year, we had a bunch of £100,000 players, and that's about it. Now our goalkeeper's worth 20. Our 2 centre-backs combined value of 60. Our midfielders about 30. Cam's about 30. And our striker is doing bits as well. We're probably not going to bring Ozaki in, despite his contract expiring at United. Didn't really impress in the slightest. And the other player that did certainly impress was Daryl Stewart. Obviously a free agent piece of business coming in from Arsenal. 6 goals, 7 assists, a 6.74. For a free agent, we really can't complain to that. Him and Stevie Taylor are the 2 legends of this season, alongside Carl Harding. So 3 English players here at Hashtag. Despite us going out and signing a bunch of hidden regions, they are the 3 that have carried us to safety. Now, financially, of course, the Premier League comes with lots of money, so I don't imagine we're going to struggle anymore. We're up to £43 million in overall balance. There is no debt at the club whatsoever. We have a £46 million transfer budget, which should mean we're now able to kind of try and improve these facilities. So hopefully by the end of this video, we will have some decent facilities, and I'll leave you guys that do pick up this save file on Patreon with a club that is actually ready to go forward and dominate the world. As I said, this save file will be available on Patreon. It is up for sale for £3 with the starter, middle and end rebuild files. So if you want to grab that straight away, you can do in the link down below. Or if you want to help support every month, £5 a month, you get access to all the rebuild files we do here on the channel, as well as all the tactics we make as well. So it's a very value for money wise. We offer about 20 different things per month for £5, and it helps support me massively. And there's over 4,500 members over there now, so even if you want to go and join as a free member, link is down below. Come and join the Kempi army. Right, this season was a mix of free agents and bargains and a couple of big signings. First free agent signing, Charlie Sheffield, loaned out instantly to Carlisle. Looks like a very good option to potentially replace Steve Taylor in the future. And as for the rest of free agents, we have Lee Lindsay from Manchester City, Stefano Berfancis from Millwall to be a rotational left-back, Gerardo Grossi from Brighton as a 32-year-old Brazilian winger. As a free agent, looks absolutely fantastic, already a value of £30 million as well. Bruno Cabewo coming in from Bolton on a free agent deal. Jordan McCormack from Brisbane Roar is an Australian striker, again giving some good rotation options. Sylvester Paulson coming in also from Academia as a 20 determination midfielder. We love to see that. And then bargain signings wise, number 1 is Khalifa Kamara, a Senegalese left back, and Aviv Babas as another rotational striker, but signed for just £200,000. Our big signings, number 1 is Peru Munoz, a French centre back coming in from Eintracht Frankfurt, extremely consistent, just 21 years of age, and cost us £11.5 million. And number 2 is an absolute demon. He has the Wonder Kid tag. It's Yaya Agüe, an Ivory Coastian striker slash winger who Millwall already picked up from ASEC Mimosas in Ivory Coast. damn you, Millwall, because they got him for just £250,000 and we had to spend $14.5 million. He's not contributed a lot to them in the game here, but looking at his stats, there is no doubt in my mind this guy's going to go on to be one of the best strikers in the game from Ivory Coast. 5-star potential, 5'11", decent speed, great dribbling, first touch, flair, and determination. I think we've signed an absolute striker. And finally, I bet you didn't expect to see this coming. Cole Harding's left the club already, but he's gone to join Al Fatih, Saudi Arabia, doubled our money in one season. We've signed that Bastantis from Millwall as a free agent, and comparably, there's not too much difference, to be honest, if we compare them. Cole Harding's a little bit better defensively, a little bit quicker, but Stefanos is a free agent signing. Move him out, bring in Stefanos, and it's not a bad deal at all. And that enabled us to go out there and get the likes of Agüey up front. The team now, Diu, Munoz, Diatta, Kamewo, Kamara, Doan, Pedrinho, Bivas, Tiel, Grossi, and Agüey up front. It is a very exciting side, and I'm excited to see if we can get out of that relegation battle and try and get to mid-table. So as mentioned, we had high expectations for this season, but we didn't expect to kick it off 4 wins from 4, only conceding 1 goal, beating Bournemouth, West Ham, Derby, and Luton. But going in September, we lost 5 games from 5, showing the real up and down of this team, including an 8-2 loss in October to Manchester United. 8-2 BU, that used to be the old saying, didn't it? November was unbeaten though, weirdly enough, after an 8-2 loss. And then December was a mixed bag. A few draws, a few wins, a few losses. Before January was, again, very, very similar to December. But it has shown that we've got already there about 8 or 9 victories. We're probably safe halfway into the season, which is a massive change on last year. So for the second half of the season, when we jump into the likes of January and February, where it was still a mixed bag, it was good to see we weren't just losing game after game, and we were heavy scoring as well. 6-1s against Derby, 3-0 against Fulham, and then a 5-1 loss against Newcastle, 4-1 against Watford, 3-1 against Everton, and in the final month of the season, holding our own against the likes of Chelsea and Manchester City. So a very impressive year compared to the season before. And a lot of it was down to a few of our players. Daryl Stewart, free agent from Arsenal 2 seasons ago, 13 goals and 6 assists from right wing. And despite signing new strikers, Steve Taylor stayed as our main, scoring 16 goals and getting an assist. Once again, proving he is just irreplaceable in this club. And well, somehow his goals and the likes of Daryl Stewart led us to 7th place in the Premier League. Now, we are miles off the top 6. I mean, 22 points off of Spurs, who are just a place ahead of us. But the middle pack between 7th and 13th is separated by 10 points. And then it's a huge drop-off from there. We just really capitalised on the league having an off year. I mean, it's such a weird season. I've never seen a 22-point gap between 6th and 7th. But here we are, with a -5 goal difference, qualifying for the Europa League. Now, I hate to be pessimistic. I'd actually have rather finished 8th. There isn't a chance we win the Europa League. The Conference League, however, famously said many times on this channel, is the easiest competition to win on Football Manager. The Europa League is a little bit harder, but it does mean that financially we've got so much more money. Again, we're up to £75 million in the bank, £61 million in our balance to go and spend, and another decent chunk of wage budget. Despite all of that, we are still spending considerably less than anyone else, £35 million. 7th place, so we've just finished spending 233. Liverpool, City, over £320 million. So there is some powerhouse in this, and we are 10 times spending less money than them. And even in the Championship, obviously where we were last season, we'd only be sitting 13th mid-table in terms of our spending. So we are just doing really well, and I will make this tactic available in the Patreon as well, in the save file, one for £3, and up on the rebuild files, that's £5 a month as well. I'll put this tactic in it because it is just a very basic 4-2-3-1, hence the name, but it's extremely meta. And if you're looking to get results and just build a fun team and have some fun at this stage in the game, this tactic you can't really go wrong with. So now it's about building a club for the Europa League, which I didn't expect to be saying in just the second season. So we need more good players, because there's no way we can do it with just a good starting 11. We need a full squad of top talent. First of all, we've raised over £24 million in outgoings, £13.5 million on Grossi, the Brighton winger we signed last year for free. goes out to Saudi. We'll take £13 million. He's done well for a season, but we'll take that. Zangare Vigorito and Avive Babas all making us a nice bit of money as well, all to help spending this summer. Well, we spent about £40 million, and our number one signing was actually made last season, but loaned back out to his parent club. It's Jose Tabora, a Honduran centre-back who is extremely consistent, done very well back on loan at his home club last season, Olympia, but now is here at Hashtag, and I'm very excited to see what he can do. Thomas Titocha is my next signing, a midfielder, cam, left winger with 20 determination at 20 years of age, extreme consistency as well. I think this guy's going to work out onto that left wing, 20 determination, great finishing, dribbling, first touch, good enough speed, being 6'1" as well. He could be a very good cam as an attack midfielder on attack. Also, we'll have to see where he fits in because we have brought in some top tier players. Dane Hidase is a Moroccan left back who has gone back out on loan to his parent club, but this guy is certainly going to be our starter in the future. Florian Graeber is a German left back who comes in to be the starter once Cole Harding has now left. Puno Rejc Sadar is a Croatian defence midfielder signed for just 3.2 million pounds, and he looks fantastic. Great on both feet, elite consistency, very well-rounded at 19. Our penultimate signing is Jorge Luis Tisuba, coming in from Colombia. Great speed, 6'2", good consistency, and great dribbling. And finally, I've brought in who I think is going to be our future captain. It's Levi Frankham for £25 million. He is an English centre-back, 23 years of age, heavily capped at the under-21s level for England. While his consistency is a little bit ropey, I think this guy's going to be fantastic. He's 6'5". I get Harry Maguire vibes off him, and I'm excited to see what he can do. And like I say, with his 15 leadership, his great teamwork, his great work rate, I think he's a potential future captain. And of course, he comes straight into the team as a centre-back next to Graeber currently. Befancis at left-back, again, going to get replaced in the future by Zinedine, who we just signed. Munoz right-back, Dewin goalkeeper, Doan and Rake Sadar and DM, Stewart, Tell, Tsuba and Agüe up front. But as mentioned, we have now built a bit more of a squad. The likes of Camewo, Diatta, Pedrinho, Paulson, Kone, Tichota, Kamara, McCormack, Bull, Bell, Taylor, Sheffield, all here at the club, all ready to absolutely give everything. And I've kept a lot of players as well, sort of down in the sub 12, 13, 14, and 15 that are homegrown in nation. So we shouldn't come in to any issues with that. Because I'll be honest, we've gone out there and signed a lot of players that are not going to be able to register for Europe if we didn't bring in, I think there's at least 8 homegrown players. So the signing of Levi Frankham, Bestancis, Daryl Stewart, Lee Lindsay, Zayton, and then Bell, Bull, Taylor, Sheffield are all for that reason. If not, we'd go out and have a fully non-English team because they're so much cheaper and it's so easy to find them as top tier wonder kids. But remember, this year we are in the Europa League and it's got off to an unbelievable start as well. We are joint top with Spurs, both on 22 points, 7 wins and 1 draw. Now, of course, we've got a fantastic tactic, but the only way you do this is also by being able to build a brilliant squad. So we're going straight in to the round of 16. Well, first of all, we faced up against LASK, and to be fair, only narrowly beat them 4-3 over 2 legs. We scored in 30 seconds in the first leg, thanks to a goal from Michael Thiel, and the second one came as Bell and McCormack linked up, back to Bell, a ball to Paulson, a great spiral pass, McCormack scores. And as I said, that was the first leg. It was a tight affair, 4-3 overall, but it wasn't to matter. We were heading to the quarterfinals. We got quite a nice draw against Applewell Limassol and beat them 5-1 in the first leg and 3-0 in the second. So this one was a really nice, easy sort of bye through the quarterfinals. Which leads us to the semi-finals where, of course, we are facing up against Tottenham Hotspur. The team we levelled out at the top of the league phase on 22 points. It was the 2 titans of the competition up against each other. We grabbed an early lead thanks to a goal from Yaya Agüe, but Gabriel Mek whips it into the backstick for Spurs to level things up at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, despite them being down to 10 men, and the guy that was off the pitch as they just scored a penalty against us to make it 2-1. A ratty corner tactic from Spurs ends up making it 3-1 in this one as well. A little bit of luck on their side as Lee bursts through and does score. But to keep the tie alive, we pickpocket Spurs. Great ball forward. Super Stevie Taylor gets on it. A volley into the top corner. and it's a 3-2 loss. But coming back to the Southend United Stadium, I was hopeful. And well, clearly we had reason to be as well, as within just 39 minutes, we levelled the tie up, as we have about 8 players in the box. It eventually falls to Dasuba to make it 1-0 in the game and levelled the tie up. From here, we just had to hold strong and go out there and score a bunch of goals. Michael Tell scored to give us the lead in this one. Munoz then throwing into Daryl Stewart, back to Munoz, back to Daryl Stewart. I mean, this guy as a free agent signing has been incredible, giving us a 2-goal lead. And of course, in the 90th minute, we wanted another one to beat Spurs convincingly 6-3 in the tie. An absolute banger from Poulsen on the edge of the box. And hashtag United, we're in the final of the Europa League, where we are facing up against 4-4-2 Bournemouth, and if we win this game, we tick off our first challenge of winning a European trophy. Now, this was a Bournemouth side that just finished 15th in the Premier League compared to us, who were battling the likes of Spurs for European football. So in just 42 minutes, Stevie Taylor got us 1-0 up, and a second came in as well in the 52nd, and hashtag United were winners of the Europa League. Michael Tell scoring the second goal, and we absolutely dominated Bournemouth. 17 shots to their 3, more possession, more clear-cut chances, more XG, and we had won the Europa League. Hashtag United, European champions. What on earth has happened? What would make it even more ridiculous would be having another season of pure growth in the Premier League. We finished in 5th place on 69 points, 38 games, 20 wins, 9 draws, 9 losses, a 17 goal difference, 69 points. We would have qualified for the Champions League regardless of winning that competition. So it shows even more that we managed to do it. I mean, we have just rose up the leagues here, and now we're an established European side in back-to-back seasons through the Premier League, which is absolutely crazy. Abubakar Diou is the second top clean sheets in the league, which is absolutely mental because he seems to be a rotational goalkeeper for Bissau Guinea. He's extremely consistent, he's brilliant, and for us, he's an absolute legend. For a national team, it isn't all of that. In terms of the rest of the squads, you would never guess top goal scorer. Of course, it's Steve Taylor again. 24 goals, 3 assists. Jorge Luis Dasuba. Remember, we signed this guy for how much? Let's just double check. Oh, £1.6 million. How does 21 goals and 10 assists sound? Absolutely beautiful. Michael Tell, 20 goal contributions. Daryl Stewart, 27. Pero Munoz, 18 from right back as well. And Yaya Agüe is getting there. 15 goal contributions worth £71 million. Is he the most expensive? Yes, he is. Levi Frankham, a 7.02 average rating this season. Perfect. Future captain, 5 goal contributions. Love to see it. And I am very, very happy with how things have gone this year. Of course, I mean, we've ticked off a massive box and have secured Champions League football for the first time. We also got to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, losing to Manchester United, and the third round in the Carabao Cup, losing to Chelsea. But we've done wonders here. Hashtag United are extremely rich, and we are on the up. And well, because things have gone so well, we've made just 2 signings. Number 1, Brazilian. We had to bring in a Brazilian centre-back. Santos comes in from Cruzeiro. And number 2, we've gone big on our striker. We have finally brought in the man that I think will take us to a Premier League win. It's Evan Ferrer, a French striker from FC Nantes. 20 years of age, 35 million, but 16 strength, good speed, great finishing, good composure and determination. This guy is one of the best out there currently and costing us just £26 million. Being 20 years of age, this guy is going to progress into a superstar. So for the first time in this version of the rebuild, things have not changed really much in the team other than a brand new centre-back and a brand new striker. But of course, what has changed is hashtag are in the Champions League. So let's go and see what we can do up against some of the best clubs in the world. Well, once again, it was an extremely consistent season in the Premier League. We are still in the top 6. At what point are hashtag a big 6 side? We're going to have to debate that in the comments down below. 3 seasons finishing in the top 6. Are we officially a big 6 side? Have we made hashtag part of the big 6? It's incredible. The top team, Liverpool, are though 20 points ahead of us still. I think we are still quite some way of winning the Premier League. We seem to be doing very well in this level. I mean, above Manchester City this season. We've beat the likes of West Ham, Watford, Villa, Arsenal now down in 13th place. and are now trying to catch up to the likes of Spurs, Chelsea, Newcastle United, Liverpool, but they are like leaps and bounds ahead. We check out Manchester United up front. We've got Stephanie Smeyers, who's got 19 finishing, and he's just an absolute god. He must have cost a fair bit. 217 million. Yeah, fair enough. That's about as much as our whole squad. Managed by Rafferty Wart. God, if I ever see United managed by Rafferty Wart, I will smack myself in the face. Liverpool, who's their, striker and their absolute star. Managed by Xabi Alonso, which is pretty cool. Still got Endrick at the club, and up front next to him is Misra Dedic, a 20 flair striker from Serbia. That's not what you normally see from Serbia. You normally see a 6'8" Nikola Zigic kind of guy, but this guy looks brilliant, and there's a reason they're winning leagues after leagues, and the same goes for United, Spurs, and Chelsea, all the new big four. But for us, there was another competition we were looking to attempt to win. The Champions League. I wasn't looking to win this competition, I'll be completely honest. I'm buzzing we are here. We have finished in the second 8, so we'll be facing up against the third 8 teams, which still includes the likes of Chelsea, Dortmund and Leipzig. But because we're in the year 2043, things have changed a fair bit. I don't really know who the best teams are in the world right now. I'm going to show you this straight away. We haven't won the league here. Not the league, the Champions League. But to be fair, it looks very much like it's a very traditional big teams. Barca, Madrid, Liverpool, Arsenal, Madrid, PSG, City, Madrid, Atletico Madrid, PSG, Chelsea, Liverpool, Chelsea United, Napoli, Newcastle, Barcelona, and Napoli winning it again. But in the top 8, we do have the likes of Frankfurt, Villarreal. We have the likes of AJ Auxerre here, Copenhagen, Besiktas. Not too much change in Champions League. In Europa League, it is certainly a little bit different. Liverpool have won it this time. The likes of Rodez are second place. Juventus are down here. Sigma Oluminiok from Czech are up here in the first division, and it seems to be a new top tier side. But as I said, we did win the Champions League. We actually got knocked out to Eintracht Frankfurt 6-2 on aggregate, but a pretty decent showing, and I'm very proud of us. We're back down to the Europa League next season, but we've had our year in UCL football, which is a bit much of a tick box for the rebuild. But we do have our game at Wembley, and it is in the FA Cup final. It is against Norwich. Hashtag versus Norwich to win the FA Cup. Agüey gets us 1-0 up in the 31st minute, but Norwich bounce back. A corner whipped in high to Bergan at the back stick, hits both posts, and they knock it home. And we go to penalties, when Norwich might be the worst penalty team I have ever seen. They missed their first while we score. They then missed their second as Prosser puts it against the post, the first one against the crossbar. We are going to score our second if the ball ever stops rolling, which I don't think it will. And there it is. Yaya Agüey puts it in to the back of the net. I love a little glitch there in FM. And then Norwich miss again. So we have ticked off box number 2. We have lifted the FA Cup, beating Norwich in this one. So our final part of the whole rebuild of over 20 seasons now is to lift the Premier League. We've won the Championship. We've won the Europa League. We've won the FA Cup. It's now time to make hashtag Premier League champions. And the one way you don't build a Premier League winning squad is selling your best player to rivals. That's exactly what we've done. Daryl Stewart, remember the free agent signing a couple of seasons ago? 45 million. He did just score 17 goals in the league, but 45 million, and look at his stats, I know I can go and replace him for probably 2.5 million from Argentina somewhere. So I've cashed in, and I've made some good signings. The man I've actually brought in to replace him cost us £23 million, but he's an 18-year-old wonder kid from Belgium with 20 determination. It's Wies Hendricks. This guy looks incredible, and I genuinely think within the next year, 2 years, we might have like a 200 current ability player. 20 determination on a player this level is so rare to find. 17 passing, 17 technique. He's the regen of Kevin De Bruyne, and he's here at hashtag United. Next up was the bargain £6 million signing of Facundo Ramirez coming in from Roma. Diego Hurguero is a Spanish centre-back signed from Sevilla, who again looks absolutely brilliant. He cost us £6 million. Dwayne Pearson was my next signing, a Canadian cam brought in from Toronto FC with some very well-rounded stats. If for some reason Hendricks isn't ready, this guy can come in and perform straight away. And finally, Drissa Traore, a Ivorian left back brought in from Crystal Palace, £11 million. He looks very well rounded at just 21 years of age. So here we are then. Ferrer, Tsuba, Hendricks, Agüe is the front four. Reik Suda, Ramirez, Munoz, Fuego, Francum, Traore, and you in goal. I think we are ready to compete, or at least finish again in the top four. But I think it's time for Hashtag to win the Premier League. Well, we nearly ticked off another trophy in the rebuild in the Carabao Cup, but we lost to Birmingham in the final 1-0, which was a bit of a disappointing result as Birmingham had finished down in 10th place in the Premier League. And we know we're better than them. One thing I need to quickly say as well, we have moved to the London Stadium. Yes, where West Ham play. I don't know how it's working, but we have moved to the London Stadium for now, because the Hashtag United Stadium is being built. And hopefully we see it in this rebuild, because we're not going anywhere just yet. We finished 5th place in the Premier League, 62 points. It seems to be a bit of a normal points tally for us at this point. Again, in the top 6, which is amazing, but not managing to win anything. The Europa League was semi-finaled by league winners at Manchester City, so understandable that we didn't win the competition, and was a bit of a weird year for us. Wies Hendricks, he was ready, 29 goal contributions. This guy's incredible. We have literally got Kevin De Bruyne reborn, which is amazing. He was our only standout player though. Diego Aguero, the £6 million centre-back, was next. Abubakar Diu, I think it might be time to move on soon. 62 games. He's doing bits, but we could probably do better. Zinedine, our left back, is now here. 9 assists. Graeber, 8 assists. Dwayne Patterson did bits in the cam role as well. Evan Ferrer did grab 20 goals. Stevie Taylor still grabbed 12. And Thomas Tuchel grabbed 20 goal contributions. But as we can see from the average rating, we just need to be playing a little bit better. And I think there's a few too many 3-star players here. I think we need just a few more superstars. Because also, we had a release clause on Jorge Luis, which is really annoying. And he left us to go and join Saudi side Al Khalij the summer last year, which we didn't see, as obviously it was after with a release clause, etc. So a little bit frustrating, but it's a position we need to go and improve. I've got out and found an American wonder kid, John Orantes, coming in from Inter Miami. Another under-20 player who looks like one of the best in the world. American, 5 caps, 16 first touch, 18 determination, great mentals, good physicals. And from Inter Miami, costing us just £6 million. Big John, I think he's going to be great at left wing. We've then signed Portuguese right back Borja Correa, £22 million. Another theme here, 20 determination, elite consistency. We are getting them superstars now. Eric Nemec is a rotational / backup goalkeeper who signed from Plymouth for just £3.5 million. And then we found a striker who I think could be the striker if Evan Ferrer isn't. It's Jesus Gil. He is a 6'5" striker. I love a big striker with good speed, good finishing and composure. We'll see if he makes it. He cost us just £6 million. Oscar Maringaya is a Spanish winger coming in from Real Madrid for £16 million. He was a rotation over there. Comes in here as a decent player. And finally, the free agent signing of Andrei Zhukov coming from Metalist in Ukraine. Free agent piece of business. Value's very small. It's about to shoot up because I think this guy is going to be a really good rotational player for us. Quite a few decent signings in that window there. I think we need to potentially improve on DM as well. We have a bunch of players which are good rotation options, but no standouts, so potentially a potential to improve before we win the league. Jesus Gil, I think, could be the striker. If not, Evan Ferrer. Orientes, Hendricks and Agüe, a brilliant three. I'm excited to see what this season holds. Again, I think it could be bits. I mean, we're in the Europa League again. Can we win it this time? If we don't face up against the likes of City, I'm sure there's a chance. Well, it is another Europa League trophy in the back pocket. A simple 1-0 victory against Fulham and a goal from Evan Ferrer. We absolutely dominated them, 21 shots to their 3. But this season was a bit of a weird one. We had a 9th place finish in the Premier League. We have, of course, secured Champions League football. It was only 3 points worse than last season. But somehow we've dropped down a few places. The likes of Everton, Wolves, Aston Villa, all improving, and the big 5, Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea, City and United, are all getting better and better and better. And I always seem to think that we're on the path to greatness, and then we drop off a little bit. We are now on season 22. Season 23 is up next. We are extremely rich, which is great to see. Another thing, we are improving the training facilities, youth facilities, and youth recruitment. Slowly, but they are improving. And next season, we get our brand new stadium, which is a massive thing for the club. And here it is, #United Stadium, holding 39,000 seats. It's a brand new stadium built in Tilbury. #United can now play Champions League football with their own stadium. And as we are now a fully fledged Champions League side, that is incredible. Now, first up, transfers-wise, there is 4 new signings. Number 1 is Binyam Kabede, an English centre-back signed from Spurs for 34 million, already a value of up to 91. He's just 22. He's made 5 caps for England already. It's not a bad deal and gives more homegrown players at club. Next up, a proper defensive midfielder. We mentioned it needed improving, and Javier Trujillo comes in from Atletico Pamplona, a Spanish defensive midfielder, consistent, loves big matches, great defensively, and I think he's going to be a great player. And if he's not, well, I've made a free agent deal of Kev Binns. That's an incredible name, isn't it? He's been on loan at Southampton after being released from Liverpool. He's joined us here. Very good on the ball, good defensively, and again, very consistent at 23 years of age. And finally, we have replaced due in goal to sign Mario Cesar, signed from Valenciano, 229 games in the top tier of Spain. Now comes to # to be our number 1, and I think he is going to be a big difference maker. This is the # side. We do have Jesus Gil up front, rotating with Evan Ferrer and still Super Stevie Taylor. Mario Cesar, Correa, Huergo, Levi Frankham, Zidane, Ramirez, Trujillo, Yaya Agüe, Vice Hendricks, Orientes, and Jesus Gil up front. A very strong side. We're back in the Champions League, so you never know. We could win that. But of course, the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and the one we are here to win, the Premier League, is season 23 going to be the magic year. We have made some fantastic signings in this rebuild, but I don't think there's any better than Vice Hendricks. This guy was a risk. We sold Daryl Stewart and spent £23 million on an 18-year-old wonder kid. This year, 11 goals, 11 assists. He is turning into an absolute menace in that cam role. Is now a leading Premier League player, and I'm in love with this signing. It's an absolute dream one as well, and he was brilliant this season. He wasn't the only one either, because our actual top goal scorer this year was John Arentes, the American left winger we signed from Inter Miami, who cost us £8 million, now has a value of 87, and he was also brilliant. Our striker position was actually quite weak. Evan Ferrer only scored 14. Jesus Gil only scored 11, and 8 of them in the Premier League, and is leaving this season. Super Stevie Taylor played just 1 game off the bench in the entire year and didn't score a goal. This season, we also sadly lost in the final of the FA Cup to Manchester City, but that didn't matter. This year, we finally made #United Premier League winners. A 23 season rebuild, a grind, but a very rewarding one at that. 90 points this year, a 49 goal difference, just 4 losses over the entire season. We scored a grand total of 88 goals, just behind Manchester City. We conceded just 39, just behind the likes of Liverpool and City. But what matters is that Premier League trophy. It is finally ours. And we look at the history here of #United and the rise we have been on. From literally 2024-25 was the first season we managed, finishing 8th in the Isthmian League Premier. We have risen up the leagues. Fantastic spell in the National League, League 2, League 1 Championship. Premier League has been a really consistent rise, and then we've now finally won it. We end the rebuild with a Premier League title, an FA Cup trophy, and 2 Europa Leagues. #United also now have 2.5-star training facilities and 3-star youth facilities, and nearly in the gold stars for youth recruitment. We're a 4.5-star reputation side, and #United are even captained by Levi Frankham. I knew this would happen. One day, he'd become the captain. It's been an incredible, incredible rebuild. Again, just what you're looking into the history and some of the players that have made it onto this list. Daryl Stewart is a favoured personnel. Vice Hendricks, a favoured personnel. Steve Taylor, also still here. But we leave the club as a legend, alongside Jeremy McKendy, who at the start of this rebuild, well, he was pretty legendary. Thank you so much for watching the #United journey. It has been an absolute pleasure to rebuild the tags. If you don't know it, #it, and I'll speak to you guys next time.